Sleepy town settled for the night, where every lawn is tailored just right. And it's about time that the back porch light comes on. At that house down the street, at that house on Magnolia Street. My life is a mess!
Dude, I can't wait to hear about this.
I'm alive though, so I mean, I guess that's cool.
Yo, the footage coming out of Plainfield.
Yo, it's no joke. I honestly lucked out, and my car's done, but I lucked out. So some people did not. And that's very scary. That's the second time. That's the second fucking storm that I've tried to fucking survive this month.
Lee. Oh yeah, the power outage was the other one, right?
The power outage, like the trees falling around my car is like, yeah. Like, what the fuck? I got out of that storm. I was like, I can't believe no trees fell on my car. And now I fucking just drove it through a lake of water.
Are you Jesus?
Well, it didn't walk. I don't know, but Jesus was not taking the wheel that day. He was like, no, sorry, bitch, your car is done. Done.
It's a terrible situation, but it's a great anecdote for what we're talking about today. Let us start at the beginning.
God.
This was on Tuesday?
Monday. It was like the weather was spotty all day. The Adam Sandler shoot was still going on. Well, not his daughter is filming a Netflix thing in Westfield, Cranford, Central New Jersey. Okay, so Bella wanted to go to meet his daughter. She didn't. But like, you know, the trailer was a few feet from the barricade, so she was like, oh, I'll be right out, just gonna change, and then I'll come see you guys. But then it started torrential downpouring, so she didn't come out. But then her assistant like sent a note out to give to all the kids standing by the barricade that was like, I love you guys. I can't come out because I can't get my wardrobe wet because we're gonna shoot, but I hope that I can come to your show if I'm not working, because they're all kids from the theater camp. So yeah, the production crew and like the catering is all set up in the parking lot of the theater camp where Bella goes.
Yeah.
My boss sent me a text last night. I guess she took Bella to the set last night because they've been night shoots thus far. So, and then like they've been like setting up during the day and like I guess doing some shots and stuff during the day, but mostly they're night shoots. So my boss sent me this picture. Bella finally met her.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
That's Sunny Sandler, Adam Sandler's daughter. They're shooting a Netflix show called Don't Say Good Luck. And I don't know too much about it. I don't know if it's a dark comedy or a comedy. I think Adam Sandler is producing it for his company, Happy Madison Films. I think that's it. Yeah, but he's been around. He's, you know, there have been Adam sightings as well, and people have been like taking pictures with him. So it's been like a really exciting time for Jersey in that sense, but in the weather sense, not so much.
Yeah, y'all get hit
because
hard.
we've been getting storm after storm after storm, and I mean, like, I guess it's cool I don't have to water my plants, but like
your car's not happy.
My car's been overwatered. So that day, Monday, yeah, so you know, me and Bella did the whole scouting for the Sandlers, and then we went back to the house, and then it started storming like crazy at like 4 o'clock, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait it out, because usually storms in Jersey, like, they come, and then especially in the summertime, they're quick, and then they go away, and then, you know, I was like, all right, by the time 6 o'clock rolls around, when my shift ends, I'll be able to just leave. So this storm went on literally for like hours, and I was like, I'll wait it out. And then 6 o'clock rolled around when my shift ended. It was still going hard. So I was like, all right, I'll wait a little bit more. And then I was like, all right, I have to make a decision. I could either try to get home now while it's still daylight, or I'll have to wait till like 9 o'clock at night, and like maybe the storm will be done by then, but like it'll be nighttime, and like if I can't see, then you know that might be even more dangerous. I was like, let me try now while it's daylight, but I did wait for a lull. But like a lull in Westfield might not be a lull the route to get there and at home. But I texted Avi, or I was calling him or whatever, and he was like, yeah, it's like barely even anything here in South Plainfield. So I was like, all right, well then maybe I'll just try. So I even like, you know, I think it was like 7 o'clock by this point. It's still kind of light out. So I went up to my boss. I was like, I think I'm going to chance it. I think I'm going to chance trying to get home. And she's like trying to tell me all the routes to, possibly take. We were looking at the Google Maps, trying to see where the congestion was, where flooding notifications were, trying to maybe find a workaround. So I go to leave, and Jake, the kid that I babysit, he's in the kitchen, and I'm like going to leave. He's like, "Are you leaving in this?" I was like, "Yeah, wish me luck." And I
Oh
just
my
like
God.
I opened the garage, and I just stood there for like 10 minutes just watching the lightning just pow, 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 pow. And I was like, if I don't die going, like getting to trying to get to my car and like getting, dude, I just saw at like a golf course or something like that day, like 13 people got struck by lightning, like simultaneously.
Were they all men?
Probably. I don't know. But I mean, like, I was like, all right, I could get struck by lightning just trying to get to my car. Like, what the fuck? I ran to my car, and then I ran into the passenger side, and I like shimmied
Crawled
over.
over?
Yeah, I was like, I ain't running around to the other side of my car right now. Instead of going the way that I normally go, I tried to like find a back workaround. And I got like a decent amount of the way, and then road blockage. So I
Mm.
was like, fuck. So then I had to like find a workaround, and then there was like a cul-de-sac, and like there was traffic. I could have gone right, but there was a freaking lake to the right. So I went left, but there's like a line of traffic there, and then I see people turning around there. So then I turn around and I try to get out of
That
there.
is a nightmare.
It was a fucking nightmare. So I go back out to the light, the other direction. I get the flash flood warning on my phone,
Oh
like the
God.
doo, doo.
Not what you want to hear.
I'm like, oh, that's great. And so my boss is like, if you need to come back at any point, let me know. And I was like, okay, so far so good. It's raining. Like it wasn't raining like it was. Like, remember how I told you the last storm, there was a sheet of white in front of me? It
Mhm.
wasn't like that. Like, it was raining. It seemed like normal rain. Like, I could see where I was going. Most of the roads were fine except for where the road blockages were. And I was like, if I just stay, where I could see, then I'm good. Instead of going back to work, I went to go right at the light when I went back out, but I saw like sirens and flashing lights down the end. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go all the way down that road if it's just going to be blocked. So I turned back around, and then I went the other direction. And then I make a left at the end at a light, and that takes me down this like roundabout. And that was scary because there were cars abandoned like window deep in water.
Wow.
And like I saw that, and I was like, holy fuck.
What
So
did I get myself into?
and there were some cops like kind of blocking off the area, but like cars were still shimming around, like they were veering off to the side of the road. They were hugging the side, and they were able to skirt around that way and get around it and keep going. And there was a car coming from the other direction trying to get through, and I was like, don't you see like there's a line of traffic fucking trying to get through, and you're blocking everybody. Move the fuck out of the way.
Oh my God.
And I just see the water, like, I didn't know if it was gonna rise any more than that, but I was like, I need to get out of this right fucking now. So you need to fucking back up and move. And I'm beeping at him, like, move. And to the left of me, there's like a little country road, and there's like a line of cars just abandoned with their hazards
Oh
on,
my
just like
God.
window deep in water, because it's like a kind of like a valley kind of road.
Yeah.
So I'm driving down, I think it's like a main kind of road. And I could have turned left at the next light. And that's the road that I went down the last time. Like
With all the trees.
at the end of that road. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to go that way. I
Okay.
didn't want to go that way. So I didn't turn down that road, but I think that road might have been fine, which I should have maybe turned down that road, but I saw sirens coming toward me. So I was like, I don't want to deal with any blockages, any delays. Like, I just want to go where I could see, though nobody is, and I'll
Mhm.
just stay the course. So then I go down the next street, and that's kind of like where I used to work. So I know that whole development. And then I came to like a fork, right? I could have gone straight or I could have gone left. I looked straight, and there were two cars at the end of that road, and they looked like they were like stopped, like traffic. So I was like, oh, fuck that. I am waiting in that. So then I went left. And now here's the fucking road, okay?
No.
It looked like the road was fine. It looked like a little bit of water. So I started driving because I looked at the base of the trees, and I was
Yeah.
like, I could still see the base of the tree, so it didn't look that deep. I'm driving into it, and it's like a little bit of water, and like it's like log flume, like water's rushing up, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of deep. So
Love food.
I was like, I'll just gun through it. So I gunned through it, and then like I gunned through it too fast because I was trying to get out of a dangerous situation that I didn't think like to slow down and maybe feel it out.
Oh no.
Before I knew it, the water was so deep that like I was like, all right, I have to get through this. So I was just pounding the gas. I was like,
Like go, 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 go,
yeah,
go.
yeah, go, 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 go. And like it got me out of most of it. And then at the very tail end of it, where I could see the road, the car just like teetered to like a complete stop. And I'm hitting and I'm
God
yeah,
damn it.
and I'm pressing the gas and I'm pressing the gas. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And like I'm freaking out at this point and I'm shaking and my car is like not moving anymore. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
Oh.
And I'm just like, no, 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 no. I couldn't even think straight. Like I'm like
Yeah.
my phone was jittering in my hand. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
do anything. Like there was like I couldn't do anything. So I was like, all right. The first thing that I thought was like, get my important shit, get out of the car. Get my important shit, get out of the car. So I opened the door and there's water up to the ledge of the door. So I have to step in this now to get out of the car, and I'm looking at the power lines just to make sure there's nothing down. So like if I step in the water, I'm not gonna get fucking zapped to death.
Yeah.
So I got my bag. Well, at first I didn't get my bags. I went to get out of the car. I went to get out of my car and I was like, fuck shit, like I should probably grab my stuff. So my important stuff anyway. So I grabbed my purse and I had like another little bag with me. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna fucking jump into the lake and get the fuck out of the car. It was like literally, I'm a tiny girl. It didn't look that deep. It was like literally, it came up to my upper thigh.
I
So,
believe it.
and I
Holy
had on
shit.
yoga pants. So luckily, like if I had on jeans, like this shit would have weighed me down. Like I was wearing lightweight clothing, luckily. So like I was able to kind of skeet through it pretty
Wow,
quickly.
girl. Holy
But
shit.
but as soon as like I took one step out of the car and there I was like, oh, there goes one flip-flop. And then I took another step. I was like, oh, there goes the other flip-flop. And I was like, I don't know where they are, but I'm not about to wade through this lake to find a fucking flip-flop right now. I need to get the fuck because I don't know what's in this water. I don't know, like,
You have
anything.
no idea what's, yeah, being pushed through in the current that could
Right.
cut you up or whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, let me just get the fuck out of this water. So I ran through, I shut my door, made sure, I took my keys, made sure my lights were off, made sure everything was off. And then I just like got the fuck out of there. And then I ran onto the lawn that my car was parked next to. And their lawn is kind of like on like a hill kind
Mhm.
of. And then that's when like I called Avi, I called my bosses. And I'm trying to like when you're panicking like that, you can't think straight at all.
I
You can't
understand.
think. So I was like, all right. I text my boss. I was like, because like Avi, I was like, Avi, don't come out in this. My bosses will come get me. Don't come out because he's got the broken foot.
Right. Oh,
So
right.
I'm like, I don't want him wading through water.
Hmm.
I don't want him to get broken down anywhere either with his foot.
Yeah, yeah, that would be, oh my
I was
gosh.
like, I was like, Avi, stay the fuck home, please. My bosses will come get me. I'll figure it out, and just don't go anywhere. I'm just letting you know that I'm okay, and this is what happened. I'm trying to like figure out. I'm like texting my bosses like, I'll drop you a pin to let you know where I'm at, and I'm like,
How do I do that?
how do I send a pin? How do I send a pin? And I'm like trying to figure. I was ringing the doorbell of the house whose porch I was standing
Yeah.
on, and they were like they weren't home first of all, but they had a ring camera, so they have me on their porch having a fucking meltdown. So I'm sure they're enjoying that footage.
Poor thing.
So
Oh,
if that
honey.
if that shit goes viral, I don't know, maybe I'll get some money out of it, and people will start a GoFundMe for it, and I'll get
Poor
money
Jersey
for
girl.
a new car. Poor Jersey girl has a meltdown on the front porch of a stranger's house, watches her car sinking in the lake. Yeah. I don't know if I texted you at that moment. I think I was just trying to figure out I don't know what time I texted you, but I took that picture and I sent it to you at some point.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I want to look now.
Like just my car sitting in the water.
Monday at 9:52 p.m. So this must have been after because the
Oh yeah,
picture is pretty bright.
this was way later at night when I
Yeah.
sent you that. Yeah, so I took the picture. I just actually sent that to Avi. He's like, how deep is the water? How deep, is the water in the car? Because he was trying to assess like how much damage it would
Mhm.
be. And I was like, well, it doesn't look like it's sitting deep, but I drove through pretty deep. That's why
Yeah.
it stopped.
Sucked water into the engine, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, oh my God. All right. So yeah, I have no shoes on. I'm on this random stranger's porch. I'm looking at my cell battery and I'm like, I hope I have enough juice to like last me however long this ordeal
Your
is gonna
phone's
be.
always dying when we're talking.
But funny thing, my phone was actually at a full charge, luckily,
Wow.
that day. So I was
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God.
good. I have enough battery, but like I don't want to be sending too many pictures or videos of anything because like I need to save it for, emergency. But I was trying to send my boss's pin. I was like, I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to send a pin under this stress and duress. So I was like, I
Stress and
just
duress.
I opened Google Maps and I was like, you are here. And I just zoomed in and I was like, I screenshotted it. I was like, I'm here.
Come here,
And I
please.
just sent them the picture. I was like, I'm here. This is where I am. Come and get me. So then I'm like sitting on the porch, just like having a fucking meltdown. And then I see across the street, this lady is walking with an umbrella and a cup of coffee.
Oh, what a nice afternoon you're having.
A cup of coffee. She's just walking in her Crocs, just scoping out the damages across the street.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and I see her, and she looks at my car, and she looks at me, and I'm
And then
like,
she looks at
help!
me and I
I,
look at you.
I'm waving SOS. I'm like, help! But she's like, is that
Oh.
your car? I'm like, yes.
Oh.
And I was just happy. I was just happy to see a human.
Sure.
Because, mind you, while I'm on the porch making all these phone calls and my car is just drowning in the lake in the middle of the road, I see all these like Jeeps and SUVs and like
Just going through no problem.
running through no problem. And then other like sedan cars like mine taking a look at my car and be like, nope, and then
Turn
turn
right back around.
around.
Dude, that sucks.
And they're
So
like,
did that lady come over? Did she wade across the river to see you?
she was like, come with me. My house is right there behind her. So she's like, come with me. You can wait at my house and make your calls, whatever you
Oh.
need to do. So I was like, thank you. So
Oh.
I took my bags and I'm like, I have no shoes.
Very Maria Owens trying to escape Hannah's house.
I'm like, I lost my shoes. She was like, it's okay, you can use mine. So I
Oh.
have my bags and like I'm like going back through the water, like across the
Like
street.
G.I. Jane right now.
Yeah, so I'm like dumping, dump, 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 like, trudging through the water to get to her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know this lady from Adam. I threw my arms around her and I just sobbed. I was
Oh.
like, thank you so much.
Ah,
She's like, it's okay, you'll be fine, just come with me. And like she was like,
what an angel.
oh my God. Her name's Mona. She was so sweet.
Mona.
Mona.
This
So
episode is dedicated to her.
yeah, shout out to Mona. I don't know what I would have done without her. She was like literally a godsend at that time.
What an angel. Yeah.
So I get on her porch and she was like, you could come in if you need to. Or she was like, or you could stay out here and make your calls if you want. Like, I was like, yeah. She's like, can I get you anything? Some tea, some nice warm tea or something. I was like, actually, can I just have some ice water? My mouth was so dry from the stress of it all. I was like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I couldn't even like, it was so pasty in my mouth. It was not loud in my mouth. It was
Just pasty.
a fucking desert in there. And I was like, I need some water. She was like, yeah, sure. So she brought me
Oh.
an ice cold glass of water and I'm chugging that and I'm calling Avi and my bosses are texting me and
Oh.
they're like, where are you? Rick's on his way now. So like, it was just a fucking nightmare. So Avi was like trying to like figure out the damages on the car. I was like, don't even worry about it right now. Like, and I asked Mona, I was like, can you just like keep an eye on my car and just make sure nobody tows it or like anything, just like, and keep an eye on the water levels. So then my boss ended up getting there and she actually brought me out a cup of tea that I didn't even end up drinking it because my bosses got there pretty quickly. So I was like, all right, let me get your number so then we can text me and just let me know, give me the updates on my car, like if anything else happens to it while it's sitting in the water. So she's like, yeah, no problem. So we exchange numbers and then I go back to my boss's house and they gave me clothes. So I took a hot shower, got into dry clothes, put my shit in the laundry. Then I'm like, back and forth with Avi on the phone. He's kind of like, I really want to go out and assess the damage. I really want to go out and look at the car before it gets dark out. And I'm like, yo, you have a broken foot and you're in a
Yeah.
boot. I don't want your foot getting wet in this.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Did he listen?
I texted Mona and I was like, just, give me any updates about my car. And she took a picture of it and she was like, the water actually receded like almost completely at that point.
Okay.
My car was on complete dry ground at that point and a little like bit behind it was still, puddly, but
Mhm.
for the most part the water receded, and so I sent that to Avi. He's like, I'm coming out.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, can't you just like? He's like, no, I want to see what we're dealing with, yeah, before it gets too late. And I'm like, "Ugh, okay,
I can understand. I can understand that he's helpless
I
and
know,
his fear
yeah,
is being proactive. His fear is turning into being proactive and trying to figure out the car situation. He knows you're safe, but he can't do anything else.
right,
So
yeah.
he gets some jelly beans in the jar for that.
He wants a little control over the situation, right? So,
Get
and then
it?
he just wanted to see, like, what we were dealing with. He was like, well, if the engine's dry, then we'll be fine, blah 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 blah. So we get there. Oh, that's right. No, he went to my car. He had my spare key. I was still at my boss's house. He went to my car before he made the decision to come and pick me up, because like I
Mhm.
was like, I don't have my clothes. I had my period. I was on my last tampon. I just wanted my cats. Like,
God
I
damn.
did not want to sleep at my boss's house. I didn't. So and like they're sweet. They're really accommodating. They're like, they have a guest room. They're like, you could just stay here. Like, it's fine. Like, no problem.
After the afternoon it's not an ideal situation you want to then try to relax
Yes.
into, right? You need to
Yeah.
be in your own home with your cats to make sure, like, I know you're worried about yourself in your car, but you're like, I just want my cats. I know you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's not a strange place. Like, it's my home away from home. Like, I work
Mhm.
there. Like, that kitchen is, I know it's
Mhm.
not my house, but I know my way around.
Right.
But it's not my house. And like, after a traumatic experience like that, I just wanted my couch and my babies and
Yeah.
my pillows and my blankets and fresh tampons, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, I just want to go home.
Oh.
So Avi went to my car before he came to get me, just to assess the situation, because my car was still in the middle of the road at that point.
Mhm.
Okay, and the water had receded. So I was like, if anything, can you see if Mona has like a husband or sons or something that can help put it
Push
in
it.
neutral and push it to the side.
Yeah.
So, he was like, Mona doesn't have anyone that could help, so she's just gonna do it. She did it. Like, what?
What a boss.
Who is this woman? Oh, and that's another thing I forgot to mention before I left her house. She gave me her Crocs.
Oh my
She was like, you could have these. I don't even, they're ugly as hell. I don't even like
God.
them. I don't even,
Wow.
she was like, I don't even know where these came from. Somebody gave them to me, and like, here, you could have them. So she gave me her Crocs, which were like 10 sizes too big. So I'm trudging around in these Crocs that don't even fit my tiny ass feet. But it was something. So I was like, okay. So I just took
Oh.
them, and like I get into Rick's car, like all just like drenched, and like, but when I got out of the
Hey,
car,
Rick.
her the seat was just like a puddle on the fucking seat. I was like, I'm so sorry about your car. He's like, oh, it's fine. Jake's done worse after practice. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm just
No,
so
but real
embarrassed.
quick, I think you've just made a friend for life in Mona.
She was amazing. And
That's
she
awesome. She deserves a thank you card.
I sent her like the longest text, and I gave her her Crocs back. I went
Oh.
by yesterday, and like I put the Crocs on her porch, and I was just like,
Oh.
texted her. I was like, I return your Crocs. I just thank you for everything. I need to send her like a fruit basket or something.
Yeah.
But she was so sweet. So
Just some banana bread.
gave me her Crocs, and yeah, so I was waiting for, any updates, because Avi went to go check out the engine, and he was like, well, your undercarriage is fucked up. All the plastic, from underneath the car completely ripped off. He was like, that's just a plastic piece. It's
Yeah.
fine. Like, that can be replaced. I just hope the water didn't get into the engine. So before he even checked that out, he came and picked me up. He took me back, and he's like, before we go home, I just want to go by the car again, because he had his tools with him. So he was like, I want to pop the hood, unscrew and look in the air filter, see if that's dry. So we did that, and it was wet.
Oh no.
And he was like, fuck. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no. He's like, all right, maybe it's just, wet for today. Maybe it'll dry out. Maybe if once it dries out, it'll, the engine will run again. But didn't try to start the engine again, because if there's water in your engine, then it could add a hydrolock or something. Like, that's what they were saying. So I was like, all right, well, I wouldn't know shit. So I just, whatever Avi told me, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, I guess, well, we can't do much else right now, so let's just go home. So as soon as I went home, I filed an insurance claim, and luckily I had comprehensive insurance, so it covered flood damage, anything.
Awesome.
Yeah, so filed a claim because yesterday was when the claims guy came out.
Gotcha. Yeah, you were
So
saying that you were in like a queue and you had to wait
yeah,
your turn. You didn't know the
yeah.
date or time.
And when I talked to him on the phone, he's like, since I talked to you, 27 more claims came in from that flood.
Holy
And
shit.
none of those cars were salvageable.
Oh God.
So everybody got fucked.
Dude, Mother Nature is so scary right now.
What's going on? What's going
I
on?
don't know.
And like I
I'm
was
so glad
so
you're okay.
well, yeah, I'm glad I'm okay. And I was so upset though because I was like, I got out of that last storm unscathed. I thought a tree was gonna fall on my car, and it didn't. And I thought I got out, and now, nope, nope.
You still got out.
No,
Hey,
I still got out, but
between
my
you and
car.
the car, take the Volkswagen slash Hyundai.
Oh yeah, you, you're stupid ass. That was so funny.
Uh,
I needed that laugh. No, wait, what did you? Oh, and then your Billy Zane video. Billy Zane video gave me life on Tuesday. I was like, just like in a funk.
I believe it.
I was in such
Because
denial.
that's your livelihood, is your car.
I live in my car, you know? I'm always in my fucking car.
So what's the next step?
The claims guy came out yesterday. He pretty much gave me the bad news that my car was totaled. So the cost of the damages, when I was like younger, I always thought totaled meant like your car was like, you drove it into a telephone pole.
Bold. Yeah, like a
Crumpled.
piece of tinfoil.
That's not what totaled means. So basically, when your car is totaled, it means that the cost of the damages is worth more than the
Oh,
worth of the car.
got it.
So it would cost more to replace the engine because the whole engine's fucked. Because there's water in my air filter, and the claims guy popped the hood. He checked the oil. The level of the liquid on the dipstick is higher than it should be. So he's like, yeah, there's water in your oil in.
Oh,
So
fuck.
everything's fucked. So when he told me that my car was totaled, I pretty much had a meltdown, and I had to go in my car and cry while Avi took it from there.
Oh, honey.
So
Oh
just
no.
had a fucking meltdown. I was like, not my car. I paid it
Oh,
off. I was like so happy. I had no car payments
I know.
on from Monday to Friday. We were supposed to be in Vermont, but we didn't go because Avi's toes are broken.
Mhm.
So, he wasn't in any good shape to make the drive. But then we saw pictures of, we were supposed to go with a group of people, and we saw their pictures that they're posting from this trip. They're hiking, they're on mountaintops, they're going down ravines and waterfalls, and like Avi was like, I couldn't have done that. Good thing
Yeah.
we didn't go. Like, what the fuck? So like I was like, all right, well, should I have taken off the week anyway? We could have had a staycation, but we didn't. I continued. I was like, no, I want to work this week. I'd rather make the money. So I was gonna work. I opted to work all weekend. I was like, maybe I'll take off Friday just so we could have a day together. That would have been nice. And then this shit happens Monday, and it was like, no, bitch, you're not working anyway this week.
You're gonna have that week off.
You're not gonna make
Just like the universe planned.
you're not gonna make any money either, and you're gonna have to pay for a new fucking car. So
When does that start? When do you start looking up into that?
well, now I got the settlement from Geico. It's more than I thought I would get.
Nice.
It's enough to put a pretty good down payment on a new car.
Great.
But our other option is like, do I want to have car payments? Like, I can either use the money that I'm getting from the settlement, invest in getting a new engine put in, and continue to have like no car payments until I can save for something that I actually want, or I can use the settlement money to put a down payment on a car and then have car payments. I'm entitled to a rental car for a couple days.
Oh,
So
good.
I actually have the reservation. I was supposed to
Good.
go pick it up this morning. But I think I could pick it up until whatever time today. So, but
Oh,
I'll only have it through like Saturday. So I'm like, it's already the end of the week. Like, what's the point now, you know?
that's true.
So I'm
Well, if
like,
you need to go out and get groceries for the weekend or whatever, you
I
got
would
it.
just we would just take Avi's car.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I'm like, what's even the point? Like, and he's like, yeah, we can only, I think you're only covered through Saturday or something. So I'm like, that's pointless.
Ah,
At this
damn.
point, I just have to get a new car or, get the one fixed that just got fucked. So I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I'm
So then
so
right now,
sorry.
I'm kind of like weighing my options, and Avi's waiting for a quote. He's waiting for the shop to call him back with a quote on their engine replacement.
Oh, I'm sending you the biggest hug. I'm so sorry. That is the most stressful ordeal. I'm
Thanks. But,
sorry.
I'm kicking myself because, like, I'm like, if I just stayed at work until 8 o'clock, I was impatient. I was like, no, I want to make it home before it gets dark out. I could have avoided it.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. You can't just let it
I
go.
know, but
It is what it is.
human
I
nature,
know.
it's like
I know.
I could have prevented that.
I know.
I could have prevented that from going in the other direction on the street instead of, waiting behind a couple cars instead of going down fucking lake whatever.
You might have run into a whole different problem, an
Yeah,
even worse
yeah.
problem.
You're right. And then I wouldn't have had Mona.
Mona, Mona with the coffee and the Crocs.
Mona with the coffee. Yeah,
Wow.
she was literally an angel in that moment. I was like, where did you come from? Like, I didn't see her 2 seconds before that, and she came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, hello, lady. Help!
So maybe not RIP to the Volkswagen.
Maybe
Maybe
not. I
not.
know there is still a chance that I could still have it, but Avi's making it very clear I would no longer have comprehensive insurance. It would literally just be liability to be able to drive it on the road. And if something like this happened again, then I would be shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also that to consider. So
There you
I
go.
actually forgot a funny part of the story.
Okay. What?
So the day after the whole ordeal, we went back to the car because Avi wanted to look at it in the daylight. Okay, so he wanted to look more under the undercarriage and then unscrew the air filter and look in there more and like see if it was dry, if it had dried overnight. It did not. But in the meantime, he was like, you should look for your flip-flops. So I did. I was looking for my flip-flops and I was like, I don't see him. I'm not finding him and blah blah blah. So after he was done, he decides to help me look for my flip-flops. So I'm looking, I'm like on the lawn of the random person's porch that I was on, where, right in front of the house where my car broke down. And I'm looking and I don't see anything. And Avi's like on the far left side of the yard of the house. And he's like, I found one. I found
Oh my God.
found one of my flip-flops. So I'm like, all right, the other one might not be too far. I'm looking, I'm not finding it. I'm like getting flustered. We're about to leave, okay? The house across the street from the house whose porch I was standing on, a lady screamed out the window. She's like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, this lady's being a fucking nosy ass, okay?
Uh-huh.
My now broken down car is parked outside of her house, a few feet in front of her mailbox. So I was like,
For a
maybe
day, a second day.
yeah, maybe I'm blocking her mailbox. I don't know. Maybe she's just being a nosy ass. She's like, what are you looking for? I was like, I lost my flip-flop in the flood yesterday. She was like, oh, I put it in my garbage can on the side of my house.
No shit. That is
like,
amazing.
You found my flip-flop? She's like, yeah, go get it. It's in my garbage can.
That is the most Jersey thing I've ever heard.
I'm like, what are the fucking odds? Like, if she had not seen me and she had not peeped her little nosy ass head out the window, I wouldn't have thought to go look in some
garbage can.
like I would not have thought to go look in people's garbage cans.
No, I think that's illegal.
Right? So she's like, go get it. It's in my can. So I go in the garbage can and I open the lid and it's just my lonely. I thought there would have been like bags in there, like I have to dig through shit. It's all the way at the bottom of the can, my lonely little flip-flop just floating in garbage juice.
Ew.
And I just took a deep breath and I reached my little arm in there, fished it out. I fished it out and I'm like, God, I found my flip-flop.
Oh my God.
And they're shit. They're shit flops. They're not even flip flops. They're shit flops because the things I have gone through with these flip flops, like they're my ride or dies. I love them. They fit perfectly. I have little feet, so it takes a lot for me to find shoes that I really love. And these flip flops, they're rubber. They're like pure rubber. If I could find them, if there's a will, there's a way. I was like, I'm gonna find my damn flip-flops because I bought flip-flops on Amazon after I had lost them. I was like, well, I guess they're gone.
Yeah.
So I bought new flip-flops. I spent $15 on a new pair of flip-flops. They didn't even get here yet. Amazon's running behind because of all the floods. So I
You
was
really
like,
said, Tony, turn around. And then them flip-flops will be found.
yeah, and like they fucking manifested themselves back into my reality, and I was like, I can't even believe I found both of those flip-flops. I thought they had gone washed down the sewer.
Yeah.
I had thought they were long gone, but no. One was floating in Flo's garbage can on the side of her house.
Incredible. What a turn of events. I don't want that
Listen,
foot fungus.
I'll take a win where I can get it.
Sure.
My car, but I found my flip-flops.
Yo, that's intense.
Avi goes to me.
Whoa.
He's like, I have to give it to you, Jess. He's like, he's like, you really know how to look on the bright side of things, even when things.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't remember how he put it, but he's like, my ass is so pessimistic. It is. Yeah, and I'm just like, silver linings, everything's fine.
On the flip-flops.
And then the Geico guy was like, it's totaled. And then I have a meltdown. And then I
That's
have,
justified.
and then we went for pho. And then,
Oh, that's even better.
yeah, well, that was kind of a weird place, right, Avi?
Oh.
It was a weird place.
Well, I'm
But
glad you're here and you wanted to record.
yeah, I wanted to record Tuesday, but I was like, I should probably figure this car shit out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally all right.
And now here we are talking about water, so
Water today.
yay!
If you don't know by now, I'm Christina.
More water. I'm Justina. Welcome to Magnolia Street, your one and only musically inspired practical magic fandom podcast.
Every week we deep dive on different aspects of the movie and the books, as well as treat your ears to our very own practical magic inspired original music. And if you've been journeying with us through the elements the past couple months, we've done earth, air, and fire. You already know we've been exploring how each of these elements show up in ritual, folklore, and of course, the practical magic universe. And today, we're flowing right into that next chapter, which is water.
You know what else? I'm like still stewing about this. You know what else is fucked up? I just got my car back in January after that bitch on the side of the road hit it.
Yeah.
And I just got my body work done and it looked pristine. It was gorgeous. Mwah. And then
Poof.
yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm so salty. I'm sorry. I'm salty. I'm salty, but here we go. So a whopping 96.5% of water on Earth is in our oceans, covering 71% of the surface of our planet and Justina's car. At any given time, about 0.001% is floating above us in the atmosphere. Just 3.5% of Earth's water is fresh, that is, with few salts in it, and you can find Earth's fresh water in our lakes, rivers, and streams. But don't forget groundwater. It's going to take me a lot to get through this episode today, because
It's fine.
so salty. Groundwater and glaciers. Over 68% of Earth's fresh water is locked up in ice and glaciers, and another 30% is in groundwater. A newborn baby is 78% water. Adults are 55 to 60% water, and water is involved in just about everything our body does. It's a big part of the blood that brings nutrients to all of our cells, and we use it to get rid of wastes. It helps us regulate our body temperature, and it acts as a shock absorber for our brain and spinal cord, and we are very dependent on water.
And in Alice Hoffman's world, water is everywhere. It appears in bathtubs, in the ocean, surrounding the house, fens and salt water. It carries curses, it holds memory like all of the other elements. And for the Owens women, water becomes the space between who they were and who they choose to become.
So we're going to get into the books first. And we're gonna start with magic lessons, and there's 190 mentions of water and tears, and we're not gonna do lake today because we already did Leech Lake. That had its own episode, as well as rain. We did a whole rain episode. Water does manifest itself in Alice's books in different forms, right? But water in magic lessons isn't just an element, it's a force. It's everywhere. It flows beneath the story like a current, pulling us along from birth to death, love to loss, danger to deliverance. It cleanses, it reveals, and it threatens. More than any other element in the novel, water carries the weight of legacy and of what it means to be an Owens woman. And from the very beginning, water is there in lullaby, sung to Maria as a baby, songs about boats that carry levers across two wide rivers. Water is her first memory and her first rhythm. Her adoptive mother, Hannah, trusts water for cleansing, for healing, for setting boundaries, but Hannah also fears what it can uncover. She warns Maria early on that water reveals who you are, and that proves true over and over again. Because in this story, witches don't sink, and in a world that believes floating means you've made a pact with the devil, that makes survival a dangerous act. For Maria, water becomes both an invitation and a threat. She can't help but be drawn to it. Rivers, ponds, the open sea. She leaps in, she floats effortlessly, and she begins to realize that her very nature betrays her. No matter how human she tries to appear, the water tells the truth. It's more than just a physical trait. Water becomes a mirror, especially for the women in the story. When Maria begins learning to scry, she uses pans of water as a tool for seeing what can't be seen. Lost people, hidden futures, tangled truths, and it's not just her. Faith, her daughter, later finds herself slipping into trance-like visions when she looks too deeply into black water. She sees too much. The past, the present, her mother grieving, the serpent in the lake, the sea they once crossed together, and she nearly drowns inside the vision, because in this book, even metaphorical water can drown you. There's something beautifully haunting about how water ties these women together. It carries memory, it knows their losses, and Maria remembers seeing Hannah's house burn, standing helpless as her world was taken from her. She cried for hours, but her tears turned black with smoke. And later she discovers that witches' tears are rare and dangerous. They burn, they scar, and the deeper the grief, the hotter the tears. And when her daughter touches her face during a moment of despair, even that innocent gesture causes pain. In this world, to cry is to risk being undone, and yet it happens, because love, real love, undoes them. And water is also where Maria is tested. She's dragged to a lake, tied to a chair, weighted down with stones, and pushed into the depths to see if she will float. It's a brutal moment, echoing real history, of course, but Hoffman writes it with such tension and a strange grace, and the men who carry her into the water believe there's a monster in the lake. And in a way, they're right, but it's not what they expect. The creature that rises is one Maria once showed kindness to, a serpent. Fed by her daughter's hand, it comes back to lift her from the bottom, defying the laws of nature and man. She emerges from the lake alive, untied, barefoot in the shallows. It's a rebirth, and it terrifies them. And from that moment on, water isn't just trial, it's transformation, a threshold between what was and what comes next. The dunking test, also known as the quote, swimming test, was one of the most infamous methods used during the witch hunts of early modern Europe and colonial America. Its twisted logic was deceptively simple. Throw a suspected witch into a body of water and see what happens. If she sank, she was innocent, but likely drowned in the process. If she floated, she was guilty, saved by the devil, they claimed, and would face harsher punishment, often execution. So you were fucked either way, right? No win, no mercy, just superstition disguised as justice. This practice gained traction in the 16th and 17th centuries, especially during the European witch craze, but versions of it date back much further. It was rooted in the belief that water, as a pure and sacred element, would reject the body of a witch. In the minds of witch hunters, if someone floated, it was because the water refused to accept her, which was proof, they believed, of a pact with Satan. Satan. But in reality, the flotation had nothing to do with dark magic. Often, the accused were bound or strapped to chairs or boards in such a way that air was trapped beneath their clothing, or their natural buoyancy made them rise. In other cases, they were weighted down, intentionally or accidentally, so that they drowned before anyone could clear their name. And these weren't tests, they were executions. The Salem witch trials of 1692 didn't officially use dunking, but the logic behind the test, this idea of proving guilt through impossible means, was deeply embedded in the culture. And I just want to point out that many people have been led to believe that these practices were done in Salem, not just the dunking, but also like the burning at the stake, because of what Hollywood has depicted in various films and TV shows. But because this past year, I actually watched Salem, that TV show, and they actually had a dunking scene, and I was like, that didn't happen in Salem.
That didn't happen. Okay.
Exactly. So not accurate. If you're watching these TV shows and they're showing you dunking, all the people who were accused in Salem, innocent people, by the way, not really witches, they were all hanged, and one was stoned to death. So
was dunking a European thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So across Europe, especially in Germany, Poland, and parts of England, water ordeals were more common and continued well into the 18th century. The dunking test became kind of a public spectacle, a punishment and a warning to others, wrapped in the language of righteousness. What's especially horrifying is how ritualized these tests became. In some places, the accused were dressed in white, the color of innocence, but also of death. They were weighed down with stones, iron boots, or strapped to wooden chairs. Crowds would gather, prayers might be read, and then the person, almost always a woman, would be pushed into a pond or lake known to be bottomless. She would sink or float, survive or not. And even survival did not guarantee safety, because if she emerged from the water, eyes wild, clothes clinging, breath ragged, they'd say it was proof that she'd been spared by malevolent forces. And what they were really seeing was a woman surviving the impossible. And that terrified them. So interesting, because thinking about Maria in the book and the movie, right? She, like some kind of magical force, in the movie anyway, magical force snapped that rope. right? In the book, we know it was Samuel Diaz. But either way, she's defying these natural forces of gravity, right? Like that rope just snapped. Don't you think, like, if, knowing what we know now about these practices and a witch defying these natural laws, wouldn't they have put Maria to death anyway because of her being able to survive regardless of what they were trying to do to her? Are you muted?
I am muted. Most, if this is real life, yeah, most likely because she's in custody, right?
Right.
Quote
Yeah.
unquote, the law. So
Yeah.
they would just find another way to kill her.
Right. I don't remember what happened right after that rope snapped in the book. Do you? What happened right after that rope snapped? Did they keep
They
her in
didn't try to.
custody?
I think Samuel came and rode off with her. I think she jumped on the back of the horse and rode off.
Okay. I don't remember what happened right after the rope snap, but I'm just like thinking like, if she like defied, the laws of whatever, I would think that going by what this says, they would have tried to kill her either way because they're like, oh, she's a
Right.
witch. She snapped the rope. She's a witch. She should die anyway. So just let's find another way,
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did I leave off? Oh, so yeah, there are also moments of tenderness tied to water, especially with talking about Samuel Diaz coming to save the day, right? The man Maria comes to love. But it's not a love that comes so easy. It's a complicated one that pushes and pulls like the tug of war of the tides of like the ocean, right? Talking about Samuel Diaz, I would say that the very essence of his character is very heavily influenced by the water, and that definitely most likely has to do with his upbringing. On page 98, it says, Samuel Diaz had been born in Spain, escaped to Portugal, and then had been raised at sea. So I also wanted to read this passage on page 233. It says, if Maria wasn't mistaken, she could see a flicker of longing for the sea in Samuel's eyes when the wind picked up and the sea chilled the air, a hunger for his old life in which he didn't have to sit at the dinner table at an appointed hour, here where the stars weren't half as bright as they were out at sea. He was drawn to the harbor where he stared out beyond Hellgate. New York was blue and gray, a city surrounded by water, which called to him even though he wished to stay. The North River, later to be renamed the Hudson, ran two ways. Seawater rushed to the north, fresh water flowed into the ocean. It was a river that couldn't make up its mind, and Samuel appreciated that. He was born under the sign of water and was himself often of two minds. He yearned to leave and he didn't want to go. So that's end quote there. Not only is this the very essence of Samuel's character influenced by his physical relationship with water and sentimental relationship with water, right? Alice actually gave him the zodiac sign of water because she says he was born under the sign of water, but she never specifies which water sign he is. So I was looking through my Kindle reader. I actually made an annotation about that when I went back to my Kindle to look, and I was like, what did I write about this? So I wrote, I'm guessing he's a Pisces, and maybe that's why he has a connection with Faith, because Faith is also a fellow Pisces, because her birthday is March 20th. Her birthday is specified, right? It says Maria gave birth to Faith. She didn't want her born on the 21st because that was an auspicious day or whatever. So she made sure she was born, I don't know how many minutes before midnight. Yeah. So to make sure Faith was born on the 20th. So Faith is definitely a Pisces. So maybe that's why Samuel and Faith had this special connection, right?
Maybe.
And then Maria, who on paper is a Capricorn, but her traits to me always read like a Sagittarius.
Okay.
Yeah, because it seems like they have that magnetizing relationship. I know, Avi, are you listening to this conversation right now? No, I'm talking about Pisces and Sagittariuses. So yeah, because Pisces usually wants, they want that love and the connection, and Sagittarius, I'm like, no, I want my space. I want my space.
I can see that.
Yeah. And, Pisces is more of like a sentimental love and Sag is like a tough love.
Do we get Maria's birthday?
I don't know if we get her.
Because she was born in the winter, right? That's all we get.
Right.
Why can't she be a Sagittarius?
That's what I'm saying. I think she might be like on the cusp, maybe.
I think, yeah, I'd put her at Sagittarius land more than Capricorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Alice did give a date. I don't remember the date of Maria's birthday specifically. But for some reason, I wrote in my annotations that, no, Maria's on paper is a Capricorn. So maybe there was a date somewhere. I just don't remember it off the top.
I don't remember either. Okay.
So a Sag could hurt a Pisces' feelings without realizing it with brutal honesty and the need for personal space. And that's kind of the vibe I get from Maria. And like Samuel's kind of like trying to like make his way into her heart by doing these sweet and sentimental things. And she's like, fuck that
What?
shit.
Yeah.
Right? She's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So she's just making things very complicated. So I think I just gauge that experience by experiencing and observing the dynamic in mine, not only mine and Avi's relationship, but like all the other Piscean relationships that I've had. Because like I've always gelled really well with Pisces. So I don't know, I just something about a Sagittarius and a Pisces friendship, relationship, whatever. There's just something to be said about those kinds of relationships.
Yeah, I could see that for them.
So I was like seeing that about, that whole dynamic between Samuel and Maria, going back to their whole dynamic. Some of their most powerful memories happen to be near the sea or involving water in some way. And their love, too, is wrapped in lullabies about rowing across rivers too wide to cross alone. And later, when Samuel is drowning in a lake, Maria doesn't hesitate. She fills her boots with stones and walks straight in, chanting to Hecate, praying for just one more chance, one more breath, and she finds him entangled in water weeds, lifeless, and still she doesn't give up. So yeah, it says she drags him out, pounds on his chest, ready to cut herself open to offer her blood if it means bringing him back. And somehow it works. He opens his eyes, a man returned from the depths, a life begun again, and the water that tried to take him becomes a place where their love is forged all over again.
Oh.
But water isn't always so forgiving. It's in the case of Martha Chase, that asshole. The woman who kidnaps Faith. Water becomes her end, right? She falls and dies in the marsh, and in that moment, water serves justice, quietly, without flame or fury. The same is true for Faith in a way. After escaping Martha Chase, Faith has a scrying. We talked about this a little earlier, but this is more I guess specific because like there's a passage here that I wanted to share. So Faith has a scrying experience with a cunning folk woman named Maud Carty, and she scries in a mirror that belonged to Maud's grandmother. So I guess this is kind of where the mirror I don't know, I think Maud gives it to her, so she inherits it. So I think this is where that black mirror, that inheritance from the Owens family, that's where this begins, from Maud's family. So then it gets passed on to the Owenses, and then the Owenses pass it down, generations to generations, and that ultimately becomes the mirror that Vincent looks into to see his own death. So it all starts there. So when Faith looks into that mirror, she immediately felt like she was being pulled underwater in a lake with no bottom, and she saw that serpent that she fed crusts of bread, and the blue-green sea that they had crossed while aboard Queen Esther. Okay, she saw the marsh where Martha Chase lay dying, and Faith could hear Keeper, her familiar, crying his mournful cries as he looked for her through the years when she was kidnapped, all that time. And the passage on 283 goes on to say, she dove in deeper as she stared into the glass, so deep that all that she saw was underwater, both present and past. Floating there between the worlds, she could spy her mother in the silk mourning dress she had worn ever since she lost Faith, a black veil shielding her face. She saw Maria walking through the muddy streets, crying, even though it is said that witches cannot cry. They can, but doing so changes them and leaves them unprotected, for that's what real love can do. Faith was drowning in the black mirror, going deeper and deeper. She held her breath. She peered through the murk of the muddy currents. She had come to the river of hell, a dark, bottomless canal that was filled with bodies of those who could not swim. Faith might have never surfaced. She might have been trapped there inside her mind, drowning in that cold, brackish place if Maud Carty hadn't grasped her arm and firmly pulled her away from the table. That's enough, girl, Maud said. Let's get you back here. Faith gasped, and when she did, she spat out river water. So
That's intense.
right? Isn't that? That's the craziest vision of like she felt like she was physically there, and she must have been if she spat out river water when she came back
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
That's
Just tiptoeing on that line of
Mhm.
reality and what your mind is able to do and her power as a witch.
So wild. So later on in this book, when the townspeople bind Faith and push her out into the lake, just as they once did to her mother, it's Samuel who dives in after her. He saves her, but nearly loses his own life in the process. And the lake tries to take him back. The weeds wrap around his legs, the pressure in his chest builds. He begins to feel what it's like to die in water, slow and suffocating and final. And that's like so sad to like that be your downfalls, like something that you loved so much. Like he had this love and passion for the water, and for that to be the thing that ultimately has him meeting his destiny. That's
Yeah.
like that's
It's kind of like it's gothic poetry almost. Like, cause like, would he want to go another way?
right.
As
Yeah,
a sailor, like you kind of want to go at. He wasn't at sea, but
right.
as a being of the water, I could see terrifying. He probably does not want to die at this point, but
Right.
yeah. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
there's something to be said about like loving something so much and like, people say it all the time. They're like, yeah, it's probably gonna be what kills me, you know?
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's the way that I would want to go if I would
Yeah.
want to go,
Yeah.
To die with the thing that you love. But some things that you love could kill you.
Hmm.
And after Maria dives in, she finds him in the darkness, and this time she pulls him back. And these scenes are some of the most emotionally charged in the entire novel, and they remind us that water is always more than a backdrop. It's a plot, emotion, and memory made physical. And it's the place where we reckon with what we've lost and who we're willing to be for the people we love. And even in New York, the river haunts the narrative. Samuel describes the Hudson as running both ways, part sea, part freshwater. It doesn't make up its mind. It's in between, kind of like Maria, like Faith, like all the Owens women caught between magic and survival, love and danger, land and sea. And kind of like that liminal space, reality and the spirit world, or wherever the fens might be, or these water locations might be, and these scrying visions that Faith's had too.
Hmm.
And there's something truly profound about how the book ends. After all the visions and the drowning trials and the tears that burn, what remains is the water, as a memory, as grief, and as the thing that separates and reunites. And the lullaby returns again and again, and that song, The Water is Wide, I cannot get over it, but they keep trying. They row anyway, because even when the water is too deep, too dark, and too dangerous, love compels them to cross it. And that song, The Water is Wide, that lullaby that is kind of like in this story, it kind of resurfaces. We're going to talk about Book of Magic later on. So
It's
the
repeated, yeah,
yeah, the
over and
what that song kind of comes back around. So I did want to talk a little bit about that song, but I think it might be cool to do a whole episode about this because
sure.
we love a deep dive, no
Yeah.
pun intended.
Yeah.
But The Water is Wide. It's also been called Owali Owali or simply Wally Wally or Wally Wally, Wally. And this is a folk song of British origin, and it remains popular in the 21st century. Cecil Sharp published the song in Folk Songs from Somerset in 1906, and the imagery of the lyrics describes the challenges of love. So the lyrics go, love is handsome, love is kind. And I guess this is supposed to signify, like during the novel honeymoon phase of any relationship. However, as time progresses, it says love grows old and waxes cold. Even true love, the lyrics say, can, quote, fade away like morning dew. And at some point, I think it would be fun to go down the rabbit hole on this song more specifically. It kind of reminds me of like the Skyboat song from Outlander.
Yes.
It's got like a hymnal quality to it, you know?
Yeah. I would like
Very
to
pretty.
do, it can have its own episode, but I also want to do that song that Sally and Gary hum together in the movie,
Yes.
The Old
The
Gray
something
Mare.
there, the old gray mare. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like it's so
Yeah.
niche and but I feel like it's like a folk classic, like a
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it needs to be talked about.
For sure. And like, Stina's love a good rabbit hole, so I'm sure we could drum up a whole 5 hour long episode about anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe an hour episode, maybe 2 hours. Maybe there's not that much to talk about it, but who knows? We've gone down rabbit holes we'd never expect. So
That's
I
right.
would be yeah, I would be down to do that. So, water in magic lessons to wrap up this book. It's grief, truth, power, and inheritance. It's what marks the Owens women and what saves them. It tests their will, it reflects their truths, it carries their losses, and ultimately, it offers them something close to freedom.
I wanted to say when I was at the Highland Games over the weekend up in the mountains,
That looks cool.
I did see the Fraser tent, the Fraser clan tent,
Oh
and
my
they
God.
had a cutout of Jamie.
Ah,
And
love
they
it.
did play the Skyboat song. They're all it was just like a constant drone of bagpipes.
Yeah.
People were like in the trees in the woods playing, and I was like, this is killer. This is really cool.
Yeah. Me and Avi did our hand fasting ceremony at our wedding to the Skyboat song. We had like a violin cello duo.
Oh,
Or
it's
might have been a
pretty.
yeah, trio. Yeah. They did a very beautiful string arrangement of it and it was beautiful.
You are a vibe. That's so funny.
Yo, the I we had a lot of fun with the music selections of our ceremony.
Two musicians?
Yeah,
Yeah, two
like
people
and
super
and
into music.
and I was like, okay, you guys have to wear black dresses. I supplied them with black angel wings and masks like
pretty.
masquerade masks. So they were dressed the part and they had their harp and their cello, and
That's so cool.
so it was a vibe. It was a vibe. Cool. But yeah, they played that song during our hand fasting ceremony because in Outlander, Claire and Jamie they get married via hand fasting.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
How
So
fascinating. Yeah, that was
yeah.
a cool, like, I thought it would be more Renaissance fair-y, but it was more like community and like the families and the ancestries coming together, which is cool.
That
They
is
had some
cool.
vendors, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, that
But
is
I
cool.
we walked through the main gate and the first thing for it was like I set up around a big track and field
Okay. Yeah.
circuit, and I walk in and I can see like 20 guys in kilts with no shirts. They're all wrestling. And I'm like, what did I walk into?
Christina's like, am I?
But they
Somebody
were
pinch
like,
me.
I know I'm getting old because like they were just far enough away that I could only see the color. Like the
Okay.
what everybody there was burning. Like
Okay.
everybody there was just so pale.
Well,
Like,
let me ask you, these
yeah.
half-naked guys in their kilts, are we talking Jamie Fraser or Austin Powers, fat bastard?
No, they were there. Okay, there were different weight classes. There was
Okay.
like the lightweight, the heavyweight, and up and up and
Okay.
up. So they were
Um,
actually like young dudes
Okay,
wrestling it
so
out.
so Jamie Fraser, okay.
Yeah.
Christina's like, yeah.
But we saw like the caper toss, is that what it's called, with the big pole, the big
Oh,
foam pole? But
okay.
it was women. Women in their 40s were doing it, and they were like hucking it, and it's supposed to spin end over head, and like
Yeah.
they were doing it, and that guy was like, "We have another 12 o'clock." Like
Holy shit.
women are
Yo,
strong.
Scottish women are very tough, rough around the edges, right?
Yes.
They can handle their shit. Let's just say
It was
that.
cool.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, the videos you sent in the Marco, and
I'm sure it was hard to see and hard to hear, but I was like,
yeah. I
whatever.
was like, where is she? What is
Uh-huh.
that? Is that like Renaissance fair? That was cool.
All right, let's get on to rules of magic. So, water in rules of magic isn't just an element, it's emotion, it's history, it's the mirror we sometimes can't help but look into, even when we know what it might reveal. And across Alice Hoffman's story of the Owen siblings, Franny, Jet, and Vincent, water takes on countless forms: cleansing, seductive, dangerous, healing. But more than anything, water becomes a measure of what the characters are willing to risk in order to love and to be free. For Franny, Jet, and Vincent, water appears first as something playful, bubbles in a sink. Laughter echoing through the house at Christmas. Soap that gleams like magic, lightening the weight of inherited sorrow for a moment. But very quickly, the story makes it clear water is never just water for the Owens family. People whisper about curses and secrets. The family's very magic is said to manipulate it, turning horse hairs into snakes in pans of water. So this is like their lore of the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old, quiet power, but it's also a warning. Don't underestimate what flows through their blood. As children, the Owen siblings spend summers daring each other to jump from high rocks into cold, green lakes. Leech Lake. But no matter how hard they try, they always float, always rise. They're buoyant, oddly so. And they begin to realize this trait isn't normal. It's inherited, it's part of their magic. Vincent, ever the reader of old books and forbidden knowledge, reminds them witches can't be drowned, which in this world is both protection and peril. Floating isn't just a magic trick, it's a label, and being labeled a witch has always come with risk. Water here becomes the great revealer. It shows who you are, whether you want it to or not. Franny especially feels this tension, this tug between wanting to be ordinary and knowing that the lake, the river, the bathtub will always betray her truth. We see this especially at one of the most emotionally fraught moments in the book when Halen, Franny's great love, dives into the murky city pond. The water is filthy, filled with garbage and shopping carts and God knows what else, and when he doesn't surface, Franny panics. But she knows she can't go in after him. She can't sink. She would only float. She's forced to sit there, helpless, as someone she loves disappears beneath the surface. And when he emerges, gasping and shivering, what he sees in her isn't love, it's distance, fear, a kind of recognition. And that moment fractures something between them. Because what do you do when the person you love can't or won't dive in after you? And this idea shows up again with Jet. There's a harrowing, surreal sequence where she takes LSD, loses track of time, and finds herself wading into a lake. She believes she deserves to drown, and she wants to. She walks in deeper and deeper, and still she floats. The lake won't take her. And in that refusal, something is revealed to her pain, her guilt, her longing to escape it all. It's not an accident that Franny's first words to her afterward are stay away from water, because water brings you too close to the truth, too close to the edge between life and loss. But water isn't always dangerous. Sometimes it's sacred. It's where lovers go to strip away their names and titles and fears. Vincent and William share one of the most intimate moments in the ocean. Naked, joyful, wild. There's a current, William warns him, and Vincent simply replies, it doesn't matter to us. That's love, too. Not just floating, but choosing to let go of the shore, trusting the pull, even when it's risky. And yet, that danger never really disappears. Franny especially keeps returning to water. She floats in Leech Lake alone. She thinks about Vincent, about Halen, about freedom. The lake becomes a place where she can exist without expectations. But even then, she's watched. A child notices her and says, you're a good floater, and then asks, is it true that you can't be drowned? In that moment, Franny sees herself as others do. Not just a woman at peace, but a woman marked, a witch, a mystery, a warning. There's even a local rumor about the lake. People say that if you swim in it, it might bring a lost lover back. And that's the complicated thing about water in this novel. It holds contradictions. It's healing, but it's also revealing. It's freeing, but it never forgets what's been buried. We see that clearly in this scene at Minetta Creek, where the city has paved over a once sacred body of water, a stream that was borderland for the dead, a swamp turned cemetery. There's a sense throughout the book that water can't be erased. It holds sorrow, bones, stories that never fully wash away. It's underneath everything, whether or not you see it. There's also a moment where water is used with deep tenderness. Franny bringing a basin to wash her Aunt Isabel's hands as she lay dying. Black soap and warm water, a small act of love. A farewell that's physical and sacred. Or the image of Jet daydreaming about the angel of the waters in New York, watching her rise above the fountain, blessing the city's water, stopping time. That's the hope water holds, that we might even briefly be purified, reborn. And that's what makes water and rules of magic so resonant. Isn't just symbolic, it's lived. Felt, feared, desired. For the Owens family, water marks them again and again, not as witches necessarily, but as people who love deeply, who lose hard, who carry both in their blood. Water floats them when they wish to sink, drowns them when they're clinging to something they should have let go of. It becomes a space between what they want and what they are, the thing they both flee and long to return to. By the end, water is a memory, it's longing. It's the impossible wish to go back and undo the moment you didn't dive into, or to relive the one where you did. I feel like this portion also didn't note that like water was what Jet ultimately decided to take her life, tried to take her life with. She, not only walked willingly on drugs into a body of water, hoping like to escape it all, but then she also wanted to use that as well to end her life,
In
right?
a bathtub, right?
In the bathtub.
Yeah. And then also wasn't water also what ended up killing Levi? Like the car, didn't the car like skeet on a puddle of water and like kind
In
of
the rain, yeah,
in the
yeah.
rain? There's a lot of like water in this book, water motifs, I feel like this is a very rainy book,
It is. Yes, it is.
you know?
Yeah, I
Because like
agree.
also a lot of stuff happens in the springtime, and then you have like those boys who are running into that green grassy knoll, getting struck by lightning, and all
I
these
know.
kinds of. There's a lot of storm motif in this
Yes.
book. It's crazy.
I really tried to like just get like broad water and tears because we had the whole
Yes,
rain episode and I was like, I know we talked about it there and all of our
we
thoughts on
did.
that. So
Yeah.
that was early. That was season two, like middle of season two, we did rain,
Well,
I think.
rain and wait, did we talk about tears in the rain episode? I don't
We
remember.
might have. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. So
Yeah.
lastly, we learned that Sally and Jillian's mother and father also almost perished by water. She survives this flood when they're going down the Russian River,
Mhm.
to ultimately be stuck in a, what did I call it?
You called it a dojo.
A dojo. Ultimately, their lives were taken by fire, but the sisters lose their parents in that fire, and after that, water becomes something haunted, something associated with both what they can't control and what they couldn't prevent. Because if there's anything Hoffman teaches us through the element of water, it's this: you can't always change what the water shows you, but you can choose how to meet it, whether you sink, float, dive, or let yourself be carried.
I sank.
That's okay. It's all right. You can sink a little sometimes. You had Mona to help tether you.
Had Mona.
So I wanted to note here that the tears motif, the
Hmm.
tears like turning black or burning or whatever, doesn't start till the third book technically. So this is like the second book that Alice wrote. So then after that, the third book, Magic Lessons, is when she started to do the whole tears thing. So there wasn't any tears in this one.
Right. But chronologically, we're gonna go to Practical Magic, right? Because that's the third book
Yeah,
in the
that's right.
series, first book that was written. But okay, so in Practical Magic, water is domestic. It's every day. It's the stuff of dishes, baths, teacups, and toilets, not spells or serpents or scrying bowls. It doesn't dominate the narrative the way it does in Magic Lessons or Rules of Magic, where water is steeped in mythology, danger, testing, and revelation. Instead, in Practical Magic, water is practical, quiet, in the background, and more of a routine. And this in itself is telling. The Owens women of Practical Magic are trying to live normal lives. They're suppressing their magic, attempting to blend in, keeping a low profile, so it makes perfect sense that the elements, especially water, are grounded in realism. And the mystical element is subdued. Where Maria faced trial by lake and Franny floated like a cursed signifier, Sally is just doing dishes or watching a glass of water slide across a table when something's amiss. It's as if the story intentionally strips water of its symbolism to reflect the Owens women's attempt at normalcy. And that's not to say water is without mood or meaning. As you noted, it becomes ominous at times, like when Jimmy's presence is signaled through a dead animal rising. Wait, what?
Yeah, yeah. When they have all that like awful stuff where they're losing things, they try to flush the toilet and like I think a bird or a bat comes up in the water.
I don't remember that at all. That happened? All right. I thought ChatGPT was just losing its mind, but I don't
That's
remember
not our
that.
Jimmy. Jimmy would never do that.
Maybe a frog coming up through the
Hmm.
toilet bowl. I don't know. It was a bird. I don't remember. But yeah, even in the movie, right? Even in the movie, like the toads like sitting on the rocks near the water, burping up the ring, revealing the truth.
Yep.
Which one we're gonna talk about the film in a minute, but yeah, Jimmy's presence is signaled through this dead animal rising in a toilet bowl, and that moment warps something clean and private into something corrupted and unsettling. It's not mystical, but it's eerie. Like the water becomes a vessel of haunting, of something dark that won't stay buried. What we just said, water reveals the truth.
It's one of my biggest
And
fears is going to the bathroom at night and someone
uh-huh,
crawling up my butt. Like,
same.
I don't like it.
Yeah, that freaks me out too. And then there's Kylie, perhaps the only character in Practical Magic who uses water in a way that resembles the emotional resonance it carries in the earlier books. When she runs the water to cry in private, she uses water as a barrier, a disguise, and comfort. Not unlike how scrying water in Magic Lessons reveal truth, Kylie uses modern plumbing to hide her truth, her grief, her transformation, and her confusion.
So
And that's one of the
sad.
few places where water becomes intimate again. How many times have you gone in the bathroom and like you run the faucet so nobody hears what you're doing in
Oh,
there?
absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly. We all do it. And
Mhm.
that's kind of what makes the Owenses, that's what makes them normal, and that gives
Human.
them their sense of normalcy and being human, right? This book is not as mystical as the others. So maybe that's the bigger theme here. Invisibility. Water in Practical Magic is rendered invisible by its mundanity. Mundanity? How do you say that word? It's part of the everyday rituals that the Owens women lean on to survive, to manage, and to pass. They cook with it, bathe with it, clean with it, trying to wash away their history, but history has a way of resurfacing. Now let's talk about the tears. Right? Because tears in Practical Magic, they are where the water lives emotionally. They're private and bodily and intimate, and they show up constantly, falling in silence behind closed doors, under lilac bushes, or disguised beneath running faucets. The magic of water has not disappeared, it's internalized. And let's look at the way that this unfolds over the course of the book. First of all, Sally's grief over Michael's death floods her so completely that she can't even open her eyes. And that's water as paralysis or as this uncontainable sorrow. And there's something about the phrase, quote, so many tears, that feels like a bodily storm, almost like the rains that come later. externalizing that pain. Next, Jillian's tears are both seen and unseen. Kylie watches her aunt cry beneath the lilacs, and Jillian cries again, not just from sadness, but from longing, from a deep ache for a life in which women don't have to censor themselves. And this ties back to the broader theme of emotional repression in the book. Women trying to hold themselves together while the world expects them to carry everyone else. Emotional damage.
That's such a good sound
Right,
clip.
right. The line from page 82 is especially striking, and it says, "The sound of their shovels has an easy rhythm, like a baby clapping hands or tears falling." End quote. And this is a domestic metaphor, one that threads the physical act of digging up a buried secret with the quiet, rhythmic sound of mourning. It's almost like the land itself is weeping with them. On page 233, we get the line, "The rain is coming down hard now. There is a curtain of it, gray as a blanket of tears." And this is the moment the storm becomes grief made visible. The rain, so mundane and natural, takes on the weight of all the emotion that has been held back. And notably, this rain comes just as the Owens women begin to fully confront the haunting of Jimmy's presence. It's like the sky is finally weeping with them. "I was worried about you," Ben says, "and they can call this thing a storm, but it's really a hurricane." End quote. There is also the scene where Sally and Gary are talking and making out in the car in the rain, and they leave the bucket of chicken
In the rain!
in the rain. So now you just have the soggy fried chicken.
Sog chicken.
And to this day, like that.
She's not over it.
Remember, I'm still not over it. No, I'm like, why would you leave all that chicken in the rain? When I reread the book, when we started this podcast, like I hadn't read it in years, right? Probably since like early 2000s was the last time I read Practical Magic. And then we started this podcast and I was like, all right, let me do a refresh. I'll reread everything. And I don't remember that at all from the first time I read it. And that's what stuck out at me. I was like, the chicken!
The second time around, it really nailed you to the wall.
The chicken! It's so funny.
I feel like you could probably still take that home, stick it in your oven, dry
Crisp
it
it
out a
up.
little bit.
Yeah.
Why not? And then lastly, Book of Magic. I really want, there's 2 episodes you and I are going to do. We're going to do Kylie, but I just really want to do all the shit we think we're going to see in this Practical Magic 2.
Yes.
Because my brain is just like, how is this going to be represented? How are they going to do this visually? What are they doing?
Right.
Yeah. So, in Book of Magic, water isn't just an element, it's fate. It's a farewell. It's the final threshold the Owens family must cross to end the curse once and for all. If water in Rules of Magic was about emotion and exposure, here it becomes sacrifice, return, and a reckoning. We begin with Franny. She remembers being warned against water. Witches float after all, it reveals them. Their mother had forbidden it. Vincent, reckless and radiant, dove in anyway when they were younger. And eventually, they all did. They were drawn to it because how could you not be drawn to what won't kill you, right? When you cannot drown, water becomes something sacred, intimate. It's not just about survival, it's about belonging to the world in a different way. And yet that belonging also comes with a cost. Water is a truth teller in this story. It reveals what can't be hidden. It mirrors back not just who you are, but who you've lost, who you've been. Franny remembers a local story about a sea monster that migrated to the lake during a storm, drawn inland by need. That's the story of the Owens women too, brought in by storms, driven by longing, and finding themselves stuck somewhere between danger and refuge. Kylie dreams of rain pouring in buckets, water that hides but also uncovers. She wasn't allowed to take swimming lessons as a child because her mother feared what would happen if the world saw what her daughters could do. The truth submerged. But Aunt Jillian had some different ideas and she let them float because floating is freedom, even if it also marks you as different. Now, I'm curious. The reaction Sally had to Jillian dyeing Kylie's hair for her 13th birthday.
Yeah.
What do you think her reaction would be if she ever found out Jillian was bringing him to the lake and letting him fucking float around?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Jillian, it takes a few times for her to learn her lesson.
Right. If she even ever does learn her lesson, you
Yeah.
know?
There's a tenderness in these watery moments. Toads trailing Franny like she's their queen, lilies drifting beside Jet's lithe body in the lake, children daring each other to leap. And then there's the haunting, the puddles where curses bloom, the rivers that flood and take Justina's car away when a spell breaks, and the ghost limps between the reeds. Water is the medium of liminal, the space between living and dead. It appears in dreams when Antonio walks through. Real quick, that makes me think of, have you ever seen Constantine with Keanu Reeves?
Oh, ages ago.
Okay. Like when he's like trying to go to like the underworld, he puts his feet in a basin of water
Does
because
he?
it's like a conduit. And then
Oh.
Rachel Weisz, when
Yeah.
she's trying to like see what the other side is, he puts her in a bathtub and she's like ready to like blast off, and he like pushes her head underwater and she's like, "Yo, what are you doing?" So anyway, yes,
Yeah, I
I
don't
agree.
remember that movie at all.
It's a really good movie.
How many times have you seen that movie?
Okay, this goes along with, there was another movie we recently watched, and Aaron was like, "How many times have you seen this?" I was like, "Listen, I dated a lot of guys in high school that were pretty much all the same, and they just wanted to watch, oh, The Punisher." And I'm like, they
Okay.
all wanted to watch the same goddamn movies.
Yeah.
Enough. I've watched it enough. It appears in dreams when Antonia walks through mud and reeds toward a drowned woman in the shallows. When Sally sees a girl waist deep in a marsh carrying a leather bag above her head. When Ian warns that people drown in these waters all the time, and Sally replies, "I won't let her drown," even when she doesn't know if the girl is real or a ghost.
Is
Over and
that the
over.
same woman that Jillian sees in the Fens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. The liminal space is getting blurry, that line.
Uh-huh. Like water and the Fens, maybe there's some. Well, the Fens is a marsh, right? Is the
Hmm.
Fens a marsh? So it's watery. So that makes sense, but they're seeing them in dreams too. So
Hmm.
like the Fens plus dreams, like maybe they all occupy that same weird liminal space.
How
It's
are they gonna depict this?
yeah.
Guys,
I am
don't fuck this up.
I am very curious. Okay.
Oh, okay. Over and over, water is where revelation happens. When Sally dives in after a vision, when Ian follows, unafraid of death, when Franny, ready to break the curse, fills her coat with stones and walks into the pond. She holds the grimoire to her chest, pages dissolve, the ink swirls around her, like the spells are being undone, and just lets it go. Magic
Yeah.
isn't in the book anymore. Magic isn't in the book anymore. It's in the act of letting go, in the sacrifice of a woman who loves so deeply. The depth of it could never be charted. And that's the undercurrent of this book, Water as Sacrifice. It's used for healing. Margaret, is that Ian's mom, Margaret?
Yeah. Yep.
Pours it into glasses, mixes it with mint and vervain, lemon and honey. It's used in bathing and rinsing clothes for wounds and cold compresses for fevers. But at its most powerful, water is used for surrender. You give yourself to it. You enter it knowing that to come out the other side, you may have to lose something or someone.
Like
It's no
Mars.
accident that some of the most magical moments happen in water. Sally and Jillian running into the lake laughing like they're young again. This is at the end, like when
Mm,
that's like the last scene is, I think Jillian's baby is on the bank
yeah.
and the girls go running into the water together.
Mm.
Jet's lullaby, "The Water is Wide," sung again, floating on the air like a memory that stretches back through generations. Franny watching ink bleed from the pages of the grimoire, words lifting off the surface like birds, then dissolving. A toad once used in a spell, now alive again. Because water remembers, it remembers Vincent leaping from the highest rock, Jet gliding like a water nymph, Kylie's black tears, Ian's near drowning, and the dreams Antonia can't quite forget. Because in the quiet dark beneath the surface, Franny finally broke that chain that bound them all. But the story doesn't end with loss, because the water doesn't just take, it gives back. We see it again beautifully at the very end when Sally and Jillian swim in Leech Lake, the same lake Franny once floated in. The same waters that once held memory and longing now hold peace. Together, the sisters dive under, rise up laughing, weightless, free. They're older now, worn and softened by grief, and for once, they're not running from water, they're letting it hold them. And then there's that final heart shattering moment between Ian and Sally. "There's someone drowning," he says, and she replies, "It's me." And we know exactly what she means, because drowning isn't always literal. It's the weight of carrying too much for too long. It's love that won't fit in your chest anymore, and it's a grief you haven't let go of yet. And yet, like every other Owens before her, Sally survives it. Not because she's fearless. Well, I don't know if that's accurate, but because because she learns to swim with it, swim in it and swim through it. That's what makes Water and Book of Magic so powerful. It doesn't just end the story, it brings it full circle. It washes clean the curse, yes, but also all the fears and silence and shame that came with it. It's the bath water, it's the salt water, the storm water, the tears, it's the silence under the surface. before someone decides to come back up. Because if rules of magic taught us what water reveals, then Book of Magic shows us what it heals. And maybe that's the truest form of magic of all. Not the kind you cast, but the kind you surrender to.
Yeah, that book also, like the whole end of it with the red rain or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like rain motif in this one too.
Yes. Yeah, that UK can't
Yeah.
get away from the rain.
Yo, I think this is gonna be a rainy second film. Lots of
They
water.
could definitely take it darker for
They
sure.
could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see
they
what
should have
happens.
hired what's his face? Akiva Goldsman.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't there like a darker version of Practical Magic lost to time
Oh,
in the
come on.
archives somewhere? Right. So those are all the books. We're gonna get into the film now. So in the film, it begins at the edge of the world on a jagged cliff surrounded by the sea. The wind howls, the waves crash with a kind of ancient rhythm. Maria Owen's sentenced to hang for her magic. She stands tall and silent as the noose is prepared, and then she jumps, not to die, but to choose. She jumps with this blind faith, right? This
Yep.
blind faith, this intuition, and intuition is tied to the water.
Yes.
That's the watery, the cups, right? We're going to talk about tarot a little later on, but the suit of the cups, synonymous with intuition, synonymous with water, and something deeper that pulses through the blood of every Owens woman. Her intuition is something that pulses through the blood of every Owens woman. And we're told that she was banished to this very island and cast out and alone, and yet she doesn't retreat inland. She builds her home right there on the coast where the cliffs meet the sea, and she digs in the wet sand for clams or mussels. Her hands are working in rhythm with the tide, finding her sustenance in what the ocean yields. The sea becomes her exile, her provider, and her companion. It isolates her, yes, but it also keeps her alive. So her grief comes crashing as she sobs uncontrollably on the shore. The implication is quiet but searing. She's in labor. We could see her pregnant belly, right? She's about to give birth alone on the sand. The waves crash around her, and it's kind of like it's like mourning with her, and it's bearing witness to this love that she's lost and this child that is about to be born. And when she looks out at the water, kind of crying, her eyes salty with tears, we understand that it's here in this moment of heartbreak and abandonment that the curse is cast. Not from wrath, but from sorrow. And the sea absorbs her pain and it transforms her salty tears into legacy, the Owens legacy as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Generations pass and we catch a glimpse of another Owens woman we think is Regina, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the 1960s, the red hair, they're sitting on the beach, children laughing, toes in the sand. That family is playing on the beach, they're carefree. But even in that golden light, the Death Watch beetle ticks beneath the surface. And we're reminded that joy is always undercut by fate, and the curse lingers like sea mist, unseen but always there. And the ocean in this moment is deceptive in its serenity. Beneath the playfulness is an undertow of inevitability. This is flashing forward now. The white Victorian house where the Owens women live is perched like a lighthouse on the edge of Maria's Island. It gleams against the open sea and sky, and it's a beacon, but it's also a border, and there is beauty in it, yes, but there's also this feeling of isolation. And the waves behind it aren't just scenic, they're constant and alive, and an elemental reminder of everything that these women carry, like the emotions that these women have had to carry for centuries. The house is a place of magic and mystery. And memory, tethered forever to the water that surrounds it. So we leap across the country now to the sun-drenched desert where Jillian is now residing. And Jillian's at that poolside, dancing under the warm southwestern sun. The water here is cool and clear in the pool, but shallow and artificial, right? The pool, it's not any real source of water. This isn't ancestral water, right? This isn't legacy. This is water that's been tamed and stylized, and it reflects Jillian's distance from her roots, her yearning to escape the tangled pull of family and fate. But the pool's beauty is just a mirage, because nearby, danger simmers in the form of Jimmy, and no amount of chlorinated calm can protect her. I like that. Back on the island, the day that Michael dies is muted and it's wet, right? It's kind of a rainy day. A thin sheen of rain glistens on the road as he walks toward his fate. The water here doesn't announce itself with a thunder or a storm. It lingers silently, turning pavement into a mirror. When he is struck by the car. It feels like the sea has reached out across land to claim him. And Sally is just shattered, and she rushes to the aunts and begs them to bring him back, but they refuse because water gives life, but it cannot unmake death. Not truly. There are laws, right? Even in magic, some tides cannot be reversed. And time passes. The camera pulls back on Maria's island. This is supposed to be New England, right? It's filmed in Coopville, but it's supposed to be New England. And Sally opens a botanical / apothecary shop in a quiet seaside neighborhood. And here the water returns, not as a threat, but as a quiet backdrop. The harbor is calm and populated, and it feels safe, right? It's like she's got a sense of security there, even though she's going through it right now.
Yeah.
I guess being in at home with the aunts, she feels safe there. And like she doesn't leave. That's how safe she feels until Jillian snaps her out of it. The ocean in this place reflects the possibility of a new chapter. It isn't isolation anymore, it's integration. And Sally tries to build something ordinary, something honest, even as magic hums beneath her fingertips. The sea is present, but it waits.
Even with the shit that they get from the townsfolk, it's predictable. She likes predictable. And
Yes.
she has that until her sister comes calling.
Yep, right. Then comes a storm, right? And Sally steps inside that Owen's house. Okay, so yeah, this is when the storm is coming, and she gets back home from work that day, and she feels that storm coming. She tells the girls, "I want you to go check all the windows for me. There's a storm coming," right? Yes, she writes that letter to her sister. She hears the phone ring, and then it's kind of like another shift where she's like, "What's going on? Something's about to go down." And so she gets that call, and she's gotta go to her sister. So when she gets there, I guess the rain spatters on the windshields is in her cab as Sally pulls up to the motel to come to Jillian's aid, and she's met with Jillian's tear-stained face. And then we know that whole scene that progresses from there. Jimmy kidnaps the girls, makes Sally take them on that rainy night drive, and then the whole other storm brews as that belladonna that Sally adds to Jimmy's tequila swirls around like a little tornado in the liquid in that bottle, right? Possibly foreshadowing what's to come, like a whole other storm that they were not expecting.
Exactly.
So the belladonna, we all know, knocks Jimmy out cold. Sally and Jillian arrive back at the house with his body in tow in a desperate bid to rewrite death or reverse the tides, as we were talking about before, right? But this has already been set in motion. So thunder rumbles, lightning splits the sky, the resurrection fails. They carry Jimmy's body outside, bury him in the pouring rain, the garden soaked, the dirt clinging to their boots. They stomp the mud down like shame and denial, trying to seal the consequence beneath the earth. And water becomes judgment, raw and relentless and mirroring the horror of what's been done. And the garden, once a place of healing, it now drinks in the truth.
So the next time we see water is when Gary is asking the townspeople, and then he goes to the shop and she stops him outside, and you can see a sailboat.
Right, yeah, there's kind of calm water behind them.
Yes.
So maybe Gary's arrival, it does stir things up in a way, but maybe the water, and I'm just reading the scene like I would read a tarot card, because in the tarot, you're supposed to, in the Rider-Waite anyway, the images are supposed to give you hints and clues about what the interpretation of the card would be. And you're supposed to look at the landscapes in the background, and is the water choppy, is it calm? And in this scene there's that sailboat calmly drifting across the horizon behind them, right, while they're having this conversation, and Gary's inviting himself over to breakfast, and the ocean is soft and blue. So the tension has momentarily lifted, but something remains suspended between them still. The sea behind them isn't just scenic, it's more watching, and a third presence in the confession, kind of, right? The water's seen it all. It knows the truth.
Yeah.
So the next time we see water is when Gary comes to breakfast and the girls dump the syrup in the ocean, in the bay, right? Because she doesn't confess until after the breakfast.
Okay.
Kylie's helping Aunt Jillian mix up that syrup concoction in the greenhouse, right? And then, they sit down to breakfast, and Jillian's pushing the syrup in Gary's face, and the girls are like, no, 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 no. So Kylie and Antonia take that syrup and dump it. They run barefoot over to the rocks, the shoreline, and they just throw that shit right in the ocean, right? The bay or the sea or whatever. And they offer it back to the one force big enough to handle it. The water, once a source of grief and exile, now becomes a moral compass, able to absolve and to carry away what doesn't belong. Beneath the rose-covered trellis. Okay, so that's when Sally goes to confess and tells Gary most of the truth, right? and the sea stretches wide behind them. It's still and endless, and in that moment the water is not punishing, it's more reflective. It gives them space to speak plainly, and it becomes the emotional horizon where the curse finally begins to unravel and honesty becomes its own kind of magic. And then there's emotions there, like she when he says I wish for you too, she ugly cries.
Yes, she
She
does.
ugly cries. So then when she goes back into the house to kind of like, I guess, make up with Jillian after what just happened, that's when Jimmy's like, it's me.
It's me, Jimmy.
Me, Jimmy.
I'm just got on now.
It's just going on now. Let's go together. So yes, so that's when the aunts seem to have arrived in the nick of time, right? And then they form the little coven, they do the little exorcism. I'm trying to think if there's any water going on here. I don't think we see any more water until the exorcism scene is resolved, right? The curse, quote, has been lifted, we think. And Sally's now able to go back to that childhood innocence of that Amos Fidelis love spell, and she's letting that leaf go back to Gary, and we see that beautiful water at dusk at like twilight,
Purpley.
and it's just so calm, right? It's like
Yeah.
a calm has finally come back to their lives. They're wrapping up a tumultuous, very tumultuous time in their lives after all that grief and, murder. So now they're closing the chapter on that storm that, just came to wreak havoc on Magnolia Street. So, yeah, that storm was a reckoning and a rebirth, and it was a baptism of fire and water, and a kind of storm that leaves nothing untouched. And when it's done, it's done. And when it was done, right? Like that exorcism happened, and they were finally able to move on and bury the hatchet, so to speak, when Gary sends that letter absolving them of their crimes, and they were able to throw the ring in there, and that was it. That's the end. And then so the final shots of the movie return us to where we began. The Owens women on the rooftops, dressed in their hats and their black witchy cloaks, and they're laughing as they leap off that roof. The sky is that beautiful, like twilight blue, purpley. It's got all those beautiful tones in it. The air is crisp, like our song All Hallows Eve
The veil
says.
is thin.
The veil is thin. Below them, the townspeople below them are, this is a very joyful occasion.
You can still kind of see the horizon, the ocean back there too, a little bit.
Yeah. So this time the ocean is not a boundary. It's a part of the celebration, right? It cradles the house and the magic and the family, what was once the edge of the world, and grief and all that trauma for Maria. And, she shot that shit down the ancestral line, but now it's reflecting their freedom. Like they can all accept who they are and like accept I'm a witch. Like this is who we are, take it or leave it, but we're not hiding anymore, So yeah, and that's it. That's all, I guess, all the water in the film. If there's anything else. If anything else
Water is way more present in the books. And I can understand you get 4 books to, fill with elemental situations. But here it's just like it's quietly always there in the ocean surrounding the whole plot.
The island, right? It's an island. So technically the whole entire island is surrounded by this water.
Yep.
Yeah. The aunts even have to maybe take a ferry to get to the Berkshires.
That's right.
Right. So I mean, like, there's even when it's not on screen, like you can, envision in your mind's eye and use your imagination of like they literally have to take into consideration
a ferry timetable.
Yeah. And like water surrounding this island is gonna have a lot of bearing on their day to day and like how they're gonna get around. And like
Exactly.
we even had that one episode where we were like trying to estimate like the girls taking Jimmy's body and car back to the island. They would have had to get on a ferry with a dead body in the back
the
seat.
Maria's Island episode. That one. Okay, we'll have to rank our biggest rabbit hole red thread episodes because that might be top 3.
That was a wild ride, that theory.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would have had to have
that one and the Blood Moon one.
The Dunkin' Donuts on the parkway or the
that was really good.
That was a good one too. Yeah, lots of theories. All right, so we're gonna take our break now, and when we return, we're gonna jump into the magic and the lore, even the tarot, the zodiac, mythology, and more, all having to do with water. So stay right there. We will be right back. Hey, little witches! the Stina's here. If you've been listening to our podcast for a while, you would know how much we love using the Practical Magic Inner Witch Oracle deck by Grounded by the Moon.
And now we want to share the magic of Grounded by the Moon with you, our listeners. Joseph Benitez Egerton, the creator behind Grounded by the Moon, would like to offer this very special 10% off discount to all who wish to experience the magic of his Practical Magic themed tarot and oracle decks.
But that's not all. He also creates other divination tools like tarot workbooks, deck bags and altar cloths, pendulum kits, oil blends, cleansing sprays, smoke wands, teas, and ritual kits.
And let's not forget about his custom handcrafted, all-natural soy candles, where every candle is hand-poured and personally infused and charged under the light of the moon. They even come with a crystal.
And did we mention all of the ingredients in the candles are ethically sourced?
All of Joseph's offerings are just so magical. So go visit groundedbythemoon.com and use the coupon code Magnolia Magic for 10% off your entire order at checkout.
That's MAGNOLIA MAGIC. So get your discount today. Hey, we're the Stinas, and you're listening to Magnolia Street Podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're gonna do our card read from the Inner Witch Oracle. This is the water card. Joseph has all the elemental cards. I think we've read all the elements so far with all the other element episodes we've done. This one is water, and obviously this one is the suit of emotions. And the symbol on this one is the down-facing triangle. So this says emotion, flow, and heart. So the element of water invites you to follow your emotions, inspired from the Tarot Suit of Cups. Water delivers its message, focusing on your emotions and the natural flow of the universe. With water comes healing and cleansing energy. However, this card can also represent the need to go with the flow and stop being a boulder in the river of your life. Justina.
Sounds like a fortune cookie.
Let the water element flow through the channels of your emotions and embrace it. Open yourself up, free your emotions, and follow your heart rather than your head. To better connect with water, utilize the power of a cleansing saltwater bath as well as the energy of this card itself. And the mantra on this card is I flow with the water.
I don't connect with water, and I really need to work more
Yeah.
with the water element. Like my west corner is in shambles.
Aww.
But I have a wind chime over there that Tom and Clyde gave me. It's a blue sapphire gin bottle.
Okay.
That like boom in the storms.
Yeah.
And a little blue like shelf
Yeah.
and seashells and stuff like that. But like I don't really work with water because it maybe if I had a bathtub, but
Okay.
like we
Oh,
have a hot tub that we turned off for the summer, so it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's not my go-to element.
Do you have any water in your chart at all? Nothing?
I have a Cancer Mars
Okay.
and a what's the other one? Cancer? Scorpio
Pisces.
Pluto
Pisces.
and Pisces.
Yeah.
I don't. We talked about it in like the past couple episodes, so not any of my big six. I don't think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mars is the planet of like conflict and stuff. So maybe your water gives you the ick because it always comes up like during conflict.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's like I want to stay away from any conflict. Nope, I don't like it. I get sad, I get teary, I get very upset.
Yeah, I'm a Cancer moon, so I welcome the water. I embrace the water. The older I get, oceans really like big bodies of water kind of freak me out. Not to the extent like I've been on like 3 cruises in my life and I've been fine. Like it hasn't really given me anxiety.
Yeah.
If I don't think about it, I'm fine. But like I don't want to be in that water, you know,
open ocean. Yeah.
That open ocean freaks me out. And I've always had real bad claustrophobia surrounding. I must have drowned in a past life because when I watch movies when people are like submerged in water for an extended period of time and they don't have any air, I find myself holding my breath with them.
Yeah.
And it gives me so much anxiety. It makes me panic.
Yeah, that Titanic will do that to you.
I have a distant memory of me as a child. I think this really happened.
Okay.
At some backyard barbecue, and I think my mom's uncle had this huge in-ground pool, and always have these parties, right? Or these barbecues in the summer. I remember being on a float and then falling off the float. I must have been like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. And I couldn't swim at the time. And I remember just being at the bottom of the pool looking up and like panicking,
Whoa.
like feeling like I was gonna drown and die. And I don't remember who jumped in and saved me, but that was like so scary. And I don't know, maybe a lot of like not fear surrounding water. Since then, I had learned to swim as a kid. Like at 8 years old, I was always in pools. Like I loved
Yeah.
swimming as a kid. Like I was basically like I thought I was Ariel, the little. So even though like I had this fear of the ocean, like I also I felt like a pull or a tie to it. So like it's like a push and pull of like this really deep appreciation and respect, but also a fear.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see
So
that.
it's like this weird like tug of war between, yeah, basically Samuel Diaz. Like he loved it, appreciated it, but ultimately like he's like, all right, well, I guess maybe it'll be the thing that kills me. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah. But I love water energy.
Yeah.
I love working with water energy. I've always felt this like call and pull toward mermaid lore and mythology. And I did a couple years back, I did do like a whole mermaid altar, and I did a whole series of videos. I did a mermaid month on my YouTube channel, and every week during that month of July, I released another video kind of celebrating it in another way. So like one week I did like my whole altar tour. I made like a whole mermaid altar, and then another week I did
Cute.
like salto mermaid ornaments and like little seashells and like glitter and rhinestones, and then another week I made like a sea salts or something, like altar offering sea salts, and like I put like different essential oils in it, and I dyed it blue with like food coloring, and I made it all pretty, and like just like the aesthetics of underwater like ocean, like the like you know how the waves kind
Everybody's
of
so
ripple
creative.
under there.
Yeah.
I just like I think it's so beautiful, like underwater aesthetic.
Yeah.
I love the vibe of the ocean. The things that live in it just like kind of fuck me up mentally a little bit
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
You know?
There
Um
was
yeah.
just a glacier that broke off of. Did you hear about this already? I don't know if it was Iceland or Greenland. Something just
Yeah.
broke away, and scientists have discovered all these new species of creatures and bacteria, and like
What?
that's terrifying.
That is horrifying.
Crazy. I'm wondering if it's because you have your sun in fire and your moon in water, where that's literally what they are. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The sun is fire and the moon is the water, it
Mhm.
controls the tides.
Yeah.
Like, so I can see how you have that respect, that healthy respect and fear for the ocean that way.
I have it at the same with fire too. Like fire also scares the fuck out of me. Like
Oh,
either one is a blessing and a curse, like depending how you look at it. Like you really have
all
to
the elements are.
really, yeah, really, truly. Yeah, there's fucked up shit about both of them. But like, have a healthy amount of respect and fear for the both of them. So, or all of them rather. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're back around to July. So if you want to share any of those mermaid things on
Yeah.
Patreon, the links, you can do
Yeah.
it with this one or our nautical one and or both because it sounds like you have a lot.
I do. I have the one of the videos that I did during that whole stint of my Mermaid Month stuff on YouTube. I actually did a book review about there's a book called Sea Magic by Sandra Kynes. Have you heard that book?
Mm-mm,
It's
no.
a really pretty book. I can't find it right now. Yeah. I don't even know where it is right now. But beautiful book. Really cool stuff in there.
It's
All
called
kinds of mythology and lore and divinational practices and
it's called Sea Magic.
yeah, Sandra Kynes is the author, Kynes. Yeah, but check that out. Really cool book. I did a whole entire review of it on my YouTube channel, so if you want like a full comprehensive review, just watch that video.
Yeah, that would be perfect for this
Yeah,
episode.
and I actually collabed with a girl on that video who does like the whole, you know how some girls have like the mermaid tails,
Yeah.
and they kind of like do the whole underwater free diving. They're able to hold their breath for an impressive amount of time. I
Yeah.
would not have the wherewithal or the lung capacity to do that.
Okay.
I sing, and I'm still like, I would not trust myself to hold my breath for that long and not drown under there with a mermaid tail.
Yeah, and then you're trapped. Your legs can't
Yeah.
go anywhere.
That freaks me. That freaks me the fuck out. But I collabed with a girl who's very talented in the art of mermaiding, and I used some of her videos and spliced them in between like some of my like chapters and sections that I'm
Pretty.
doing.
That's pretty.
And there's like journal prompts that were included in that book, and I collabed with another girl. I don't think she does YouTube anymore. Her name was Ellie Brusha. She changed her name to Litha Brusha. And
Like
now
legally?
no, I don't think
Oh,
legally,
okay.
but that's like she changed like her magical working name on
Got it,
social
got it, got
media,
it.
I guess. Come on out. But she actually did a whole a painting of Yemaya, like a sea goddess. Have you heard of Is it Yemaya or Yemanya?
No, all
Sh
I can think about is that elephant painting on TikTok that people are seeing the mermaid goddess in. Is that the same
Really?
thing?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that. No, I gotta look at that. Is that
This
the
is
TikTok
like
thing you linked here? You linked something up at the
no,
top.
I didn't. Actually, I didn't go through that. No, it's how water actually has memory, and it's been proven by
Oh,
science.
ooh, I like that. Like it's sentient, like the trees that how we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
no, but this is
really
like
cool.
this was a debate probably 5 months ago about this fucking elephant painting, and the girl
I
bought it and it's like, oh, look at this beautiful mermaid. I see an elephant.
okay.
I don't see a mermaid.
It's like, is the dress black and blue or yellow and gold? Remember that whole debate?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Is it Laurel or Yanny? You remember that one?
Yanny. Yeah.
Yanny. Yeah, so I collabed with a couple different people on some of those mermaid videos that I was posting. So I'll link the whole Mermaid Month playlist in our show notes if anybody's interested in all
Okay.
that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
You're
So we're
that
gonna get into philosophy now. You want to take that?
yes, 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 yes. As we did with all the other ones, this is pretty similar. We're going to talk about Plato. So, water has long held a sacred place in elemental theory, flowing through the philosophies of cultures around the world. In classical Greek thought, it was one of the four fundamental elements proposed by Empedocles, associated with emotion, intuition, and the humor of phlegm.
Oh, like what? Like the four? Was it the four humors or whatever?
Yes, I believe four. Plato described water as the icosahedron. Its fluidity and motion represent in that many-sided shape. For the Greeks, water was cold and wet, passive, receptive, and feminine. The Romans, borrowed from the Greeks, saw water as life-giving but also dangerous, an element that must be both channeled and revered. Their aqueducts may have been engineering feats, but sacred springs and nymphs remain part of their everyday spiritual lexicon. In ancient Chinese philosophy, particularly Taoism, water is one of the five elements, Wu Jing, rather than four, and it represents adaptability, depth, and wisdom. Water is associated with the season of winter, with stillness and reflection, but it is also a shapeshifter, gentle enough to nourish life, yet strong enough to erode rock. In the Tao Te Ching, Laozi writes, "Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it." It's the power of subtle persistence. In Hinduism, water is sacred and purifying. In the Ganges River, is not just a waterway, it's a goddess, a pathway to liberation. Bathing in sacred rivers is part of ritual life, representing the cleansing of karma and sin. Similarly, in Buddhism, water symbolizes clarity of mind and spiritual cleansing. It appears in rituals like libation offerings and in the calm surface of a still pond, mirroring the desired stillness of the enlightened mind. And across indigenous cultures such as the Native American traditions, water often symbolizes the lifeblood of the earth. It is prayed to, sung to, and honored as a living spirit. Water isn't just an element, it's an ancestor, a witness, and a carrier of memory. How many times can we say that?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm just at the end of this, I'm just going to pop in the audio from that TikTok. It's pretty
Okay.
fascinating. As metaphysical systems evolved through medieval alchemy, Renaissance occultism, and into witchcraft and Wicca, water retained its emotional and spiritual charge. In magical thought, it governs the West and the waning moon and the heart. It rules over dreams and the unconscious and intuition. It's where we go to grieve, to heal, and to soften. Ritual baths, moon water, scrying bowls, these are all modern echoes of ancient reverence. What's remarkable is that across all these traditions, water remains the same at its core, receptive but powerful, reflective yet ever-changing, an element that teaches through surrender, not conquest.
I measured the ability of water to take on new information before, during, and after a full moon. And it turns out that not at the full moon, but like 3 hours before the full moon is when it takes in all this information. And I have no idea why. Nobody's ever done that before.
Takes in what information?
I was giving it specific information.
Like what?
I was treating it with an electromagnetic field at a particular frequency. So I use the solfeggio frequency. Water takes on information. And it's apparently, that depends on whether the moon is full or not, or what phase of the moon. it is on.
So now that we've explored the emotional, historical, and symbolic weight of water in Book of Magic, let's turn our attention to how this element shows up in magical practice. Because water isn't just a metaphor, it's a living part of many rituals. In nearly every tradition, it's honored not only for what it represents emotionally, but for what it can do energetically. In spell work, water is the conduit, the cleanser, and the threshold, and invoking it in ritual calls on its power to shift energy, wash away what no longer serves, and soften even the hardest of hearts. Water is typically associated with the West, that liminal space between sunset and sleep. Its color is most often blue, from the pale tint of morning dew to the deep indigo of moonlit oceans. On the altar, you might find a chalice, a shell, or a bowl of water representing this element, and the elemental tool tied to water is the cup, symbolizing intuition, emotion, and the unconscious. And when practitioners call the quarters, water anchors the western quadrant of the circle. Some speak words like spirits of the west, of water and emotion, I welcome you, bring your wisdom, your healing, your flow. Others may simply pour water onto earth or anoint themselves to invoke water's presence. Each drop a whisper of connection. In magical work, water is powerful in spells for emotional healing, dream work and divination, cleansing and purification, love and compassion, and intuition and psychic development. So it's no surprise that moon magic is deeply tied to water, and after all, the moon pulls on the tides just as it tugs on us. Many witches collect moon water, charged under the light of a specific phase for use in rituals or blessings, and in many traditions, salt water is sacred, combining the purifying force of salt with the fluidity of water to cleanse tools, spaces, and spirits alike. So whether you're gazing into a scrying bowl, drawing a ritual bath, or simply crying during a spell, you're releasing those emotions, water is always there, softening, revealing, and transforming. And it is the magic of release, the element of grief and grace. I love that because we're all we're only human, right? And we are made up mostly of water, so we're constantly ebbing and flowing with the tides, with the the moon and the phases and the cycles, right? And that's why I think people are always like, when things are feeling wonky in the universe around us, we're like, is it a full moon? What's the moon
doing today?
What's the moon doing right now, right? Because that affects all of us as a collective.
Yeah, I think we have a little more about scrying later. I hope we do. I hope I put more in. You're totally right. Yeah, never mind just being tied to the moon cycle as a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even when I'm not experiencing a bleed, I can 90% of the time tell when it's a Cancer moon because I'm a fucking mess. Time.
Oh man.
And I'm like, Caitlin, I don't know what's wrong. She's the bitch, it's a Cancer moon.
It's a Cancer
Calm down.
moon. You'll be fine. Yeah.
So now let's move into the realm of the tarot and the suit of cups. Justina read from Joseph's deck earlier, but as we know in the tarot, we have a whole suit that goes along with emotion. And this is where water is not just a tool, but a message in a mirror. So let's talk about how water flows through the cards and what it reveals when it rises. So in the world of tarot, the element of water is closely related with the suit of cups. Fittingly, cups are a vessel. They carry, they overflow, they spill, and sometimes they sit still, waiting, just like water. This suit speaks to the emotional, the intuitive, and the unseen tides within us. So some of the strengths and the shadows that come along with this cup's suit. Strengths of this suit include deep empathy, emotional intelligence, romantic idealism, spiritual connection, and creative flow. But some of its shadows run just as deep, and that could be codependency, emotional overwhelm, escapism, delusion or fantasy, moodiness, and volatility. Water nourishes, but it can also flood. So the cups ask us, where are your boundaries? Are you channeling your emotions or drowning in them? So how cups show up across life areas. As far as love and relationships, this is the cup's natural habitat. From new love, like the Ace of Cups, to heartbreak, Three of Swords crossover, the suit traces the full spectrum of emotional connection. Watch for signs of deep devotion, emotional vulnerability, and unspoken longing. If you're looking at career and creativity, cups in a career spread may point to artistic work, caregiving, or emotional intuitive leadership. But if reversed or paired with turbulent cards, it can also point to burnout, lack of motivation, or getting too emotionally entangled in work dynamics. Speaking of which, have you seen on TikTok at the Coldplay concert.
Yes,
Oh my, I can't stop watching it.
the cheaters.
The cheaters.
That's
Don't
crazy.
date your boss. Like,
Well, don't date your boss where there's a jumbotron involved.
and if you're married. And if they're married.
There's a lot of factors. They could have completely avoided that.
Unbelievable.
That's
Anyway,
that is a crazy. I just saw that in the car on the way back. I was like, "Hmm, that's interesting."
could you look any more guilty?
Right, yeah. That's insane.
Okay. So, as far as finances, when cups show up around money, it's often about emotional spending, abundance blocks, or generosity. Water reminds us that money isn't just numbers, it carries our values and our stories too. When cups show up around health, this can point to hydration, hormonal or reproductive health, and the impact of emotions on physical well being. It can also signal the need for rest, retreat, or therapy.
I typically don't like to involve health in my readings because
Yeah.
just go see a fucking doctor, you know? Why
Yeah.
complicate this more and, not be able to read between the lines and then fuck my shit up even more than it already was to begin with?
Another minor arcana card linked to water is the Six of Swords. Although Swords is ruled by air, this card depicts a figure riding away on a boat in the water. This symbolizes a period of transition, safe travel, and having faith in the journey ahead. So, some major arcana cards linked to water, there are several. We have the Moon, which represents illusion, dreams, subconscious tides, and the shadow self. There's the High Priestess, the deep inner knowing, silence, intuition, and arcane knowledge. Then we have the Death card, that Scorpion is on this card, symbolizing transformation, letting go, the sacred current of change and life cycles. There's also the Star card, 1 foot on land, 1 foot in water. It's the balance between grounding of reality and the spiritual realm. And then there's Temperance, moderation via emotional alchemy. So these cards invite the querent to step into their inner ocean, to trust their instincts, and to honor the invisible forces that shape their path. So some elemental symbolisms on these cards. In most decks, you'll find cups brimming or spilling over, rivers running in the background, fish leaping from the chalices. Artists often use blues and silvers and moonlight to evoke water's element. In the Rider-Waite inspired decks, the oceans or streams are often symbolic of emotional undercurrents. Whether it's calm or chaotic tells you everything. Even in non-cups cards, water is often used to add emotional subtext. A quiet stream behind the Star card, the turbulent sea behind the Two of Swords. These little ripples speak volumes. So water in tarot is a mirror. It reflects what we feel, even when we are trying not to. And like all mirrors, it can be beautiful, but brutally honest. If the element of fire asks you to act, then water asks you to feel. I get that.
I like that. That's why I love the tarot. It's so layered.
It is
And
layered.
right? And even when you're not pulling a cups card, there might be watery undertones if you're looking at that background. Kind of like how we were talking about the scene with Sally and Gary and, it's standing in front of that calm scene with the sailboat going by. Like, there's tension in that conversation, but the background says otherwise. Like, maybe he's your safe harbor. Maybe
Right.
he's
Look at that
safe.
steady boat out there in the
Right.
middle of the water. That's
Gary kind of was like security, right? He kind of like made
Yes.
sure that she was okay, even though she was fucking guilty. He wanted to make sure that, his love girl was okay.
Love girl. He is a Capricorn. I
Right?
feel he's a
Think
Capricorn.
so? Some kind
This
of earth
girl's
sign,
okay.
right?
Some kind of what?
What did I just say?
Some kind of.
I don't remember.
I don't.
My cat's distracting me. Do you see her? She's just like completely
What are you
unhinged right now.
doing?
I think she wants kibble. I'll be right back. Let me just
Okay.
get her off my back for a minute.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on. So just as the tarot gives water a voice, astrology gives it a pulse, more of a rhythm and a tide. So we're going to drift into the zodiac now, where the water signs move by moonlight and memory, mysterious, magnetic, and always just a little deeper than they may seem. So in the astrological wheel, 3 signs are ruled by the element of water. We have Cancer, which is a cardinal sign, Scorpio, which is fixed, and Pisces, which is mutable. Me and you are the mutable signs, right? We're Sag and Gemini are both mutable, and I think Pisces is also immutable. So,
That's why traveling together is so easy because
Yeah.
Avi is a Pisces.
oh, that's right, we're all mutable.
You're like, whatever.
Yeah, maybe that's why we work so well, because me and him are just like, Yeah, whatever. Just going with the flow.
Sure.
Because, I mean, Sagittarians are like a fart in the wind. And then also, Pisces are watery, so they ebb and flow with basically whatever,
And I
right?
want to do it all, so I'm good with either.
Yeah, so it just works.
It just does.
So it says Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, these are the empaths, the feelers, and the dreamers. But make no mistake, water doesn't mean weakness. It means powerful in ways that you can't always see. It's the current beneath the surface and the pull of the moon and the undertow. So let's break this down by modality. So first we have the Cancer sign, which is the cardinal sign, and this initiates emotion. And think of this the tide pulling in. Cancer rules the home and memory and maternal protection, and it's ruled by the moon. And like the moon, it governs our emotional cycles, waxing, waning, retreating to safety, and then rising with quiet force. Now, moving on to Scorpio, this is a fixed sign, and this holds emotion deep, like a lake that never reveals what lies at the bottom. And Scorpio is a transformative, intense, and psychic, ruled traditionally by Mars. And in modern astrology, by Pluto, Scorpio invites us into the shadows, where it's sacred, the unspoken. And then moving on to Pisces, this is the mutable sign, dissolves boundaries. This is where water becomes mist, dream, or ocean. And Pisces is ruled by Jupiter classically, and Neptune in, I guess, a more modern sense. And
So wait, you and Avi are both ruled by Jupiter.
isn't that wild?
How about that?
Yeah. I didn't know he was ruled by Jupiter.
I didn't either.
Interesting. Oh, it says classically, so maybe like in a more traditional sense, but I guess more modern, they say Pisces is ruled by Neptune because that is the water god, right?
Okay, all right.
Two planets of vision and illusion. Pisces feels everything and everyone, and it is the tide that touches all shores. So together, these three, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, form a trine of emotional depth, intuitive knowing, and psychic fluidity. And they show us that feelings are data, that dreams are direction, and that the soul speaks loudest when we're quiet enough to listen. So here are some traits, patterns, and lessons, and water signs often show up as the following. So first, we have highly empathetic, even to the point of overwhelm. And then also creatively gifted through music, poetry, art, or dance. They're typically very creative people, private or protective of their inner world, and they're prone to escapism when things get too intense. And this could be through fantasy, even through substance abuse, maybe isolation. But their lesson is clear: to feel deeply without losing yourself in the depths, and to hold fast even when the waves come. So
Both, my core family, my two brothers, my mom and dad. Mom and dad are both Capricorn, right? Marco is a Pisces. His wife is a Pisces. Matthew's a Scorpio. His wife is a Pisces.
wow.
Dog is surrounded by water.
Holy shit.
I
Maybe
know,
that's why
it's
you
weird.
guys like you don't like you kind of like
We don't really
have a
mesh.
complicated relationship. You don't
Yeah.
gel, right? It's not an easy relationship. Like you have to work at it.
Scorpios and I are much easier. So my younger brother and I like much easier.
Okay.
And I have a lot of Scorpio friends, but like
Yeah.
Cancer and Pisces, I don't have a lot. I mean, we're fine. You know, the sisters-in-laws are we're fine, but we just don't like
Yeah.
talk.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
they're everywhere. It's
Yeah.
interesting to when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so into astrology, but I couldn't. There was so much to learn about it, and it's always changing. Like I couldn't pin down my family and friends. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the older you get and the more it just comes into your daily life, now I'm like, this makes so much
Makes
sense. And I'm
sense.
really surprised that more like doctors, I know Caitlin uses this in Reiki, like she looks at people's birthdays when they come in and just to kind of like get a feel for them before they even step foot in the door, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. I don't know if it's a meme or I think it's a meme. It's like when a girl asks you for your zodiac sign, run the other way or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
we sound crazy, but listen,
We're trying to make it easy on you.
right? Because I feel like there's so much to be said about zodiac and personality traits, and it's more accurate and scary than you might assume. If for somebody who's not into astrology, I'm not speaking for myself, I'm speaking for people who are not into astrology, they pass it off as like woo-woo bullshit, like there's no science behind it, but really like there is because you're consulting the planets and planetary alignment and math. Like it's a different kind of
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting how you can use those numbers to, figure why things tick the way they do.
The other thing, my mom, Capricorn, she has a Cancer moon also. And I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And she kind of had like, she had a very close relationship with her mother, but I think growing up there was a lot of like rebellion and whatever. Grandma, so mom's a Cancer moon. Grandma was a Cancer sun with a Scorpio moon, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry. Like that's a rough upbringing. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
I
also
know.
think my dad's a Scorpio moon,
You think
dude.
so? Yeah, you know my three. I'm a Sag sun,
Yeah, but I want to know.
a
I
Cancer
want to know
moon,
everything.
and a Virgo rising. That's all I know off the top of my head. Every time people ask me for my other stuff, I'm like, I have to look it up again because I don't,
Yeah.
those aren't the other ones that I'm like typically consulting on the regular, so I always forget what they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. You will. You
I
will.
know,
It'll be a
I
big
know.
deal.
I know. And I've had my natal chart done before. Like I told you, Renee Conway, she's used astrology to find missing persons before.
That's an amazing
Isn't that?
gift.
I don't even know how she does that. Like again, she uses the numbers and the coordinates of people's, the date and time of like their appearance or their disappearance along with their birth time and location and time and stuff all that. And she kind of corresponds the two together and figures out like what's the house that kind of is supposed to dictate your death.
I
Is
don't
that the
know.
10th house? I don't remember. I don't remember what
I
it
don't
is.
think.
But yeah, she generates people's natal charts to figure out like if they're a missing
What happened
person,
to
like
them?
if that's could have been like where they would possibly have died.
I like seeing the astrologers who actually use the longitude, latitude on a
Yeah,
map, like the
yeah.
Earth, and they'll show where like what the ley lines doing and what planets cross and where and when, and that is a whole different ball game to use it that way, I
That
think.
makes my Sagittarian brain go, what? Malfunction.
Just flush.
Yeah, I don't have that talent. My talents don't lie in numbers at
Mine
all.
either. No.
Yeah.
I don't know how much mermaid talk we have in mythology and folklore and deities, because I know if we do nautical next week, it might be a two-parter and there's a lot there. So if you want to add more mermaid stuff there, go ahead. But I think there's
Yeah.
stuff over there already.
I'm gonna try to find that book because I
Yeah.
don't know where the hell it went, and there's so much in there. So
That'd be a
yeah,
great,
I'll
great
add some from
find. Yeah, water has always been more than just a physical force. It's an ancient symbol of the unconscious, of intuition, healing, and hidden power. Nearly every culture across the globe has revered it, feared it, and woven stories around its depths. So let's start with some deities. In Greek mythology, we have Poseidon, god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses, unpredictable, powerful, and temperamental. But deeper still, are the sea nymphs, the water spirits, the naiads, the nereids, and oceanids, each bound to rivers, lakes, and ocean waves. Their beauty and mystery made them objects of desire and fear alike. The Romans gave us Neptune, much like Poseidon, but often associated with both fresh water and the sea. In Egypt, we find Tefnut, goddess of moisture, dew, and rain, sister to Shu, Shu, the god of the air. Together, they kept balance between the heaven and earth. Celtic tradition is steeped in sacred wells and water goddesses. Coventina, for instance, ruled by springs and healing waters. Offerings to her were often coins tossed. Is this why we toss coins into wells?
Oh.
Tossed into the water, much like we do today when making a wish, an echo of ancient reverence. Another, Bowen, said to have created the river Bowen, spelled differently, Boyne, as opposed to Boann, through divine flooding. In Hinduism, Ganga is both a river and a goddess. Her waters.
Oh, the Ganges.
Oh, Ganges. Okay.
Well, that's right. You said that right. It's Ganga, the goddess, but the river that I guess is named after her is the Ganges in India.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her waters purify sins and carry prayers to the heavens. She is both mother and destroyer, flowing from Shiva's hair and down through the worlds. Meanwhile, Varuna, an earlier Vedic deity, ruled over the cosmic oceans and the moral law. His gaze is said to reach every hidden place, like water itself. Over in Japanese Shinto tradition, we meet Shujin, god of water, and Ryujin, a dragon god of the sea, who controls tides and grants blessings or storms. Dragons in Eastern Asian culture are often water spirits, bringers of rain and fertility, unlike their fire-breathing Western cousin. And then there are the sirens and selkies. From Greek lore, the sirens lured sailors to their death with song. Dangerous? Yes, but also a reflection of the way water draws us in. This it's all coming together, right? Like what you were saying, like you're drawn to it, but you also have this fear of it.
Yeah.
Draws us in, even when we should know better. Scottish and Irish tales bring us the Selkies, sea folk, which in Women Who Run with Wolves, there's a story about the Selkies, right? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't remember that one.
Okay, that's okay. Seal folk who shed their skin to become human. Their stories often center around longing, captivity, and the pull of the sea as home. Even in Christianity, water is holy, used in baptism to wash away sin. In Norse mythology, the primordial void, Gungu Gapapap Gung,
Wait.
Gin Noon Gog Gop Gog
I
Gop.
like how you said that. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop.
When in doubt, race through it. Ging Noon Gop Pop Pop.
I feel like I was getting shot for a second. You're like, go, pop, pop, pop.
So, this primordial void was filled by icy rivers and the roaring waters of creation. And in African traditions, deities like Yemoya.
I think that's the goddess I was talking about. That I did that collab with that girl on one of my mermaid videos.
Okay.
That's one of the deities that she kind of like did a little section about, and she kind of
Yemoya.
Yemoya or Yemaya. I think it's some people say it different ways, but it's basically a mermaid goddess, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the elephant that people are seeing. I have to I gotta find this picture for you.
I think her symbol, wait, I could be wrong because I don't remember. It's been a while since like I watched that video, but all right, so in Santeria, it's Yemaya. So it's a little, I guess it's a different variation. And a watermelon, she's symbolized by a watermelon. It's like usually a symbolic offering to her.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Cute.
guess, yeah. And the Orisha goddess of the ocean, a watermelon is offered to Orisha as well. And it's due to its high water content and association with the sea. And yeah, it's saying that devotees offer watermelon to Yemaya to invoke her blessings, particularly for nurturing, protection, and abundance. So I guess watermelon is also synonymous with Yemaya or Yemoya.
Cute.
Yeah.
That's what I call it, crunchy water.
Crunchy
Watermelon
water.
is crunchy water.
Oh my god, I love that. Crunchy water. Yeah, that's
So
cute.
another African deity is Oshun, Oshun. So both of these together, they rule over rivers, sea, and motherhood, offering protection, beauty, and abundance. Water is rarely just one thing. It heals and drowns, it offers life, and it takes it. It whispers and roars. It's why water is often linked to the feminine divine, to the womb, to intuition, and to the moon that tugs at tides and tempers. Elemental animals tied to water include frogs. We have a whole episode about fish, whales, dolphins, eels, and serpents, creatures of transformation, renewal, and hidden knowledge. Some plants associated with water include willow, lotus, aloe. We have more plants to come.
Yeah.
Water lily, symbolizing emotional healing and spiritual depth. In alchemy, water is the symbol of dissolution, the breaking down of form, the surrender of ego, the beginning of transformation. To dissolve in water is to return to the source, to allow yourself to change shape. So, when we talk about water in mythology, we're talking about change, about return, about what's buried and what rises, and about the soul. Because water, of course, remembers, it reflects, and in the end, it always finds a way through. But not all water magic lives in old myth or ancient texts. Some of it's happening right now on muddy banks. We're seeing so much flooding right now.
Yeah.
Canal boats, kitchen counters, and storm-tossed shorelines. So let's talk about the real-world practice of water witchcraft, a craft rooted in not one tradition, but in fluidity, intuition, and the pull of the tides.
I wonder if at all if we get into the Beldam. Have you heard of the Beldam?
No.
Okay, so in Neil Gaiman's Coraline, the Beldam, also known as the Other Mother, is a powerful, malevolent witch or fey creature who lures children to the other world. While not explicitly called a water witch, she is associated with a well, the manipulation of reality within the other world. So like another liminal space, which is sort of a parallel dimension. And the term water witch is used by the character Wybie to describe Coraline, hinting at her connection to intuition and her desire to explore outside, especially during rainy or stormy weather.
Cute.
Isn't that
I
cute?
love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen Coraline. I want to because it looks so like niche and like tactile and everything's just like you want to taste it. I don't
I
know.
love me some stop animation. Did I ever tell you when I was like a kid, I always wanted to be a stop animator when I grew up?
Yeah. Well, it's impressive. It's like a labor of love.
So much patience, right? But yeah, the Water Witch, that from Coraline.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, water witchcraft. They say no two bodies of water are ever the same. A tide pool in Maine whispers differently than a storm fed by the bayou in Louisiana. But if you listen, really listen, you'll hear something ancient stirring beneath every surface. Today, we dive into the flowing, shape shifting world of water witchcraft, a practice as varied and mysterious as the element itself. Unlike fire or earth based magic, there is no singular water witch tradition, no fixed doctrine or lineage, and that's part of the beauty. Water witches live where the water lives, by oceans, lakes, rivers, swamps, canals, wells, fountains, and even rain clouds. I'm trying to remember where I got this from, but it says, we shape our practice the way a stream shapes its bed, by flow and instinct, not by force. So let's start by untangling the difference between a sea witch and a water witch. Terms often used interchangeably, but with subtle distinctions. Sea witches are often rooted in coastal living, drawing power from saltwater, tide pools, moon-driven waves, driftwood, barnacle-crusted rope. Their magic echoes sea shanties and storm song. Water witches, on the other hand, might live inland or on canal boats, gathering their tools from freshwater banks, swamp paths, or moss-covered wells. We honor all forms of water, salt, fresh, brackish, even distilled, and the creatures and spirits that dwell within them, whether it's in snow melts from the mountaintops or storm water pooled in an alley gutter. It's all sacred. It's all magic. So this author lives in the UK. They say in the UK, there's little known tradition of water witches families who live aboard canal barges during the Industrial Revolution. Their homes floated along the narrow water lanes of England, Wales, and Scotland. These weren't high ceremonial practitioners with robes and ritual daggers. They were everyday people living close to the water's edge. For them, water wasn't metaphor, it was home. The barge was their altar, the canal their lifeline. And though documentation is scarce, there's something deeply evocative about that image, which is trailing herb bundles from tow ropes, children collecting snails and cattails, charm bottles swinging from iron hooks on the hull. Water was woven into their daily lives. And maybe that's the truest form of witchcraft. Waters of power from swamp to storm. So let's talk about the kind of waters water witches may work with, because they're not all created equal. There's salt water, potent, cleansing, and deeply protective. Many witches collect seawater in dark glass bottles, sometimes mixed with herbs or oils. It's perfect for warding, purification, or anointing. Then we have brackish water, a blend of fresh and salt, found where rivers meet the sea. It carries the tension and power of transition. Brackish water is a favorite for spell work involving thresholds, birth, and death transformations. Then there's swamp water. It holds its own dark charm, stagnant on the surface, teeming with unseen life below. Cypress knee rises like sentinels. Oh, like a cypress knee. It's like those, like, it's almost a full tree, but it stops growing at like knee height.
Really? I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Frogs and snakes weave among the reeds. Swamps are excellent for shadow work, curse breaking, and working with spirits. But you must tread respectfully. This water doesn't suffer fools.
That's
Then
like
there-
bog witch territory.
Yeah.
Swamp water, right?
Swamp witch.
Yeah.
Check out our Lilith t-shirt over on our
Yes,
Teespring.
yes. Lilith is the bog witch, right?
The OG.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's rainwater, hail, and snow melts, all bring their own flavor. A jar of rain from a thunderstorm can lend power to urgent spell work. A few drops of summer rain feel like soft encouragement. Snow, especially the first snow of the season, can be melted and used for blessings, resets, and purification. Then there's rivers and creeks and seasonal stream. They carry movement magic, ideal for spells of release or journey. And don't forget wells, especially holy wells, often guarded by local spirits or fae. These are portals in themselves. So what do water witches actually do? You might find them beach combing for shells, bones, driftwood, or mermaids' purses. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, what? I'm
Each
gonna look
a
that up.
possible, yeah, look that up. Each a possible talisman. Drawn to bowls, vessels, and bottles, anything that holds, pours, or reflects. Scrying is common, using water as a mirror for message or vision. Some witches use black bowls, others prefer natural pools or even puddles after rainstorms. A drop of ink, a scattering of flower petals, a shimmering of oil, all can reveal meaning.
So, a mermaid's purse is the protective leathery egg case of certain sharks, skates, and rays. And these egg cases are often found washed up on beaches after the young fish have hatched. And they're not actual purses, but rather a natural phenomenon and a sign of a healthy marine ecosystem.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
That does sound pretty gross. They look like they kind of look like a Death Watch beetle.
Really? Like they're like
Yeah.
oval
Wait,
shaped?
hold on. Look at this picture. They kind of look beetle-esque. If correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm gonna pop this into the chat. The jet,
Legit. Oh, oh,
right?
weird.
Isn't
It
that crazy?
does. It's got like the horns and everything.
Uh-huh. That looks so weird.
Wild.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. That's so wild. Ew,
Yeah, it is
gross.
gross.
Okay. So there's a joke that water witches are all secret magpies. Speaking of connection.
Maria, I see you.
They collect everything: beach glass, barnacle shells, snake skins, driftwood, rusty keys, sand from different shores. These treasures often become. So, Ariel, she
Uh-huh.
collects the trinkets and the doodads and the
The
thingamabobs,
dingle hoppers.
finger hoppers.
Want thingamabobs? I got 20.
But who cares? So, the, these treasures often become part of shrines or altars, personal ecosystems of memory magic. So there is a witch that this writer knows who labels every bottle of collected water with the date, moon phase, and location and storm type.
Can I
Another
tell you, I made labels for every single moon for my Bohemian Magic. I made a different label for each type of moon, and then on the bottom, I left a little line so people can write in the date.
That's cool.
And they're printable, so you can print a new one every year and write in your own dates.
Dude, that's fucking cool. Patreon.
I'll have to share them over on our Patreon too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all
That is clever. I like that. Yes. Another keeps a water grimoire of places she's swum and spells she's cast there. This person keeps a vial of hail water from a storm they danced barefoot in.
Ooh, I like
I know,
that.
that's cool. It lives on their
Badass.
altar like a little vial of defiance.
That's badass.
So the writer says, here's what I've come to believe. Water witches may disagree on tools, deity, or spell structure, but what binds us isn't doctrine, it's devotion to flow, to feeling. It honors what cannot be held still. Some practice quietly, sipping tea by fogged up windows, watching the drizzle. Others throw nets, chant by crashing waves, or cry openly in the bath, letting emotion become ritual. There's no right way. The only, quote, rule is to let yourself move. So here is a simple water witchcraft practice for you, wherever you are. So tonight, or the next time it rains, open your window, hold out a bowl or a teacup or your bare hand, let the droplets collect, bless them with whatever words rise to you, and then use that water. Wipe your mirrors, water your plants, wash a talisman, anoint your head, whisper a wish. Let water remember it for you.
Or, just sacrifice your car to
Your
the
car!
latest flood
Biggest
gods.
sacrifice.
R.I.P.
Poseidon's like, I didn't need all that.
R.I.P. Jetta.
I
Oh,
was not in the
R.I.P.
market for a Jetta.
2011 Volkswagen Jetta. You will be missed. Can we play a little like bah, bah, bah,
Yes.
bah, bah,
I should have
bah?
written a eulogy for the Jetta.
Oh, should. I'm so sad.
I'm sorry.
Well, it hasn't been towed yet. I want to go do my last photo shoot with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do with my bike on Sunday. We're selling
selling it?
Goodbye.
Hmm.
I know. Times are changing.
Well, did you say Aaron got a new bike just recently?
He did. I want
Hmm.
but gotta get rid of the old first.
Yeah.
Got 3
Yeah.
bikes in the garage. So
Oh, damn, girl.
yeah. All right, take us into esoteric and occult systems.
All right, so now that we wade into deeper waters, those esoteric streams were mystics, magicians, and seekers of hidden knowledge. They've long practiced their faith in the element of water. This is the realm of the occult where the veil is thin and water becomes a conduit for both intuition and initiation. In the Kabbalah, water is most often associated with the Sephirah, chest? I say that. Chest, the sphere of mercy, kindness, and divine grace on the tree of life. We've talked about the Sephirah on our alchemy tree episode. I think that was in season 2, right? And just like water, chest flows just like water, expanding with generosity, governed by the planetary force of Jupiter. It balances the fiery restraint of Geberah and softens judgment with compassion. Some practitioners also tie water to the Sephirah Yesod, the foundation, which acts as a spiritual aquifer, channeling higher energies into the physical world. Yesod governs dreams, reflection, and the subconscious, all liminal watery realms. So I guess the Fens, right, would be governed by Yesod,
Cool.
probably.
Yeah.
In the world of elementals, water is embodied by the Undines, fluid spirit spirits of lakes, springs, and seas. Paracelsus, the 16th century physician and alchemist, categorized these beings as sentient forces who can help or hinder depending on how they're approached. Undines are said to be feminine in form, deeply emotional, and bound to the sacredness of stillness and flow. In modern magic, they are sometimes invoked to aid in emotional healing, love work, and dream walking. And from a numerological perspective, water aligns most commonly with the number 2, the number of duality, sensitivity, and emotional exchange. 2s are cooperative, relational, and intuitive. Think of the High Priestess card in the tarot holding the scroll, seated between 2 pillars, with water flowing beneath her robe. She is a living embodiment of this frequency. Also, the Two of Swords, the figure is sitting there. I think it's blindfolded and the swords are kind of crisscrossed.
Yes.
And in the background, I think it's just like still water, and then there's like a crescent moon in the sky. And then in other occult systems, such as Hermeticism and Thelema, water governs the astral plane, the realm of imagination and creation. And Aleister Crowley associated it with the Suit of Cups and viewed it as the element of dreams, illusion, and true will when aligned with love. Water here isn't just symbolic, it's a current, a carrier of intent, able to link the magician's desire to the greater cosmic tides. In many mystery schools, water is the element of initiation, the ritual immersion that symbolizes death, rebirth, and transformation. This isn't just metaphorical. In certain Rosicrucian and alchemical rites, the initiate passes through, quote, the waters to leave the known world behind and enter one of deeper understanding. And in witchcraft traditions, particularly those rooted in ceremonial magic, water is used to purify and consecrate. The chalice, representing the womb of the goddess, sits on the altar filled with moon-blessed water or wine. It is a container of grace, symbolizing receptivity, reflection, and the ability to hold power in quiet stillness. Like, think of the Ace of Cups of the tarot, right? That chalice. So whether it's the Sephiroth, the spirits of the deep, or the numerological whispers between the lines, water has always been more than element. It's a sacred cipher. It's what fills the gaps between known and unknown, and seen and unseen. It teaches us that depth often hides beneath the surface, and that still waters indeed run deep. And can I just tell you something really quick? Like, I only drove through that lake because it didn't look deep. Like, it didn't look deep. It looked shallow. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. I could drive through this, no problem. And, like, it started off very shallow, but toward the middle of the road, it dipped down. And, like, it was very deceiving.
Yeah, I'm
Very
wondering now if you ever drive that road, if you'll be like, oh, I see that now.
Mhm.
But yeah, how are you to know in that moment?
Right.
Because you're already panicking. Like, you're
Right.
already trying to get home.
Yeah. I wasn't panicking until like I was like really in the middle of the road, and before I knew it, it was already too late. Like I couldn't have even backed out of there, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the waters run deep, and sometimes it's an illusion. You
Yeah.
can't you can't tell.
Hmm.
And that's what the scary thing is about water, whether they're rapids or even still water, like it still has a depth and it's so deceiving,
Yeah.
you
That
know?
still water is frightening.
Yeah.
The amount of bacteria and shit that live in there.
Oh my God. Yeah. When people are like, oh yeah, let's go swimming in the lake. No. No, thank you.
If
No,
it's like
thank
a
you.
big, beautiful mountain lake, I'll jump in. That's fine. But here I'm like, it has to be some moving water for me to want to get into a pond or a lake down
I
here.
won't
It has
fuck
to,
with a lake.
yeah.
No, I'll never fuck with a lake again after like hearing things on like, news reports of brain-eating bacteria, amoeba,
Right, right, right.
like tearing holes through people's brains. No, thank you. Okay, so going back to the whole Coraline water witch, well witch thing,
Yeah.
in the movie, she has these 2 sticks, right? And she's like, Magic Dowser, show me the well. And then he comes down on his little tricycle motorcycle. It's like, "Brr, brr." And it's so cute. You guys see that movie. I love that movie.
No.
And so yeah, there's water dowsing in Coraline as well.
Wow.
So before we float too far downriver, let's dip into one of the oldest and most controversial occult practices tied to the water element, water dowsing. And maybe you've heard it called water witching, and maybe your great uncle swore by it. But is there anything to it? So let's look at the magical claims, the skeptical responses, and what it really says about our longing to trust instinct over data when it comes to the most essential resource on Earth, water. So what is water dowsing to start, right? Water dowsing is a method of locating underground water by using a tool, most often a Y-shaped stick, a pendulum, or a pair of L-shaped rods. Sometimes they're like metal, they look like metal antenna, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the practitioner, called a dowser or water witch, holds the tool and walks across the property, awaiting involuntary movement of the tool to indicate a water source. So I think, I don't know if it says it here, but I think they're supposed to naturally just cross each other,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah,
wild.
it is wild.
They just hold
Unexplainable.
them loosely in their hands, and then like I guess when they walk across the like whatever water is underground, those rods are supposed to crisscross.
I've seen TikTok people using them as like a yes or no pendulum,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Yep.
for answers.
I've seen that too. So many believe that this is a form of spiritual sensitivity or magic divination. Others insist it's a type of subconscious intuition. And in recent years, it has seen a resurgence in drought-stricken areas where desperation often pushes people to unconventional methods. But here's where it gets tricky. So the science or lack thereof, according to decades of research and controlled testing, water dowsing has been repeatedly debunked. The most accepted explanation for the movement of the rods is called the ideometer effect. And this is a phenomenon where our bodies make tiny unconscious movements in response to thoughts. So basically, working a pendulum, right?
Yeah.
Or muscle testing, rather. How Krista taught us how to do the muscle testing.
Right.
Yeah, unconscious movements in response to thoughts, expectations, or subtle environmental cues. If you've ever tapped your foot without realizing it or swayed slightly when watching someone else move, that's ideometer. The same effect powers Ouija boards, pendulum swings, and yes, dowsing rods. Dowsers are often unaware of these involuntary movements, and because they want to find water or expect to find it in certain areas, the tool responds. But not because of magic, but because of muscle. It's that muscle testing.
But is it because our muscles and our bodies are tied and like we feel the water through the muscle,
Maybe.
through the earth?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Exactly. So there was a case study, and these were called the Munich experiments. And one of the most cited pro-dowsing studies took place in the late 1980s in Munich, Germany, led by Hans-Dieter Betz. And the experiment involved over 500 dowsers tested under controlled conditions in a 2-story barn with a pipe of running water hidden below. After preliminary tests, 43 dowsers were chosen for further trials, and ultimately 6 of them performed slightly better than average. The researchers declared this proof of dowsing, but hold on. Further analysis by Dr. Jim Enright, physiology professor, revealed that the so-called, quote, successful results were statistically meaningless. The experimenters had essentially cherry-picked the best outcomes from a sea of random data and labeled them as proof. And this, friends, is known as the Texas sharpshooter fallacy.
Okay.
Shoot randomly at a barn, then draw a target around the holes that clustered. It's not accuracy, it's illusion. So what about all those success stories, though? You might be thinking, but my grandpa used dowsing to find the well on our farm and it worked. Well, sure, because in most areas there's water almost everywhere underground. In regions with decent rainfall and porous geology, it's incredibly hard to not find water if you dig deep enough. The U.S. Geological Survey says just that. Most professional dowsers also tend to work in the same geographical areas for years. They know the lay of the land, the general depth of the aquifers, and the local geological patterns, consciously or not. And that experience gives them an edge, even if they attribute it to their rods or their pendulums. So, is it water witchcraft or is it wishful thinking? Is dowsing divination or is it just deeply rooted human psychology wrapped in ritual? Honestly, it might be a little bit of both. It is a magical belief system that ties into our ancestral longing for control over nature's chaos, and it's the water element at its most symbolic, flowing intuition, deep yearning, hidden truth. But in a scientific sense, dowsing doesn't hold up. No peer-reviewed double-blind experiment has ever shown it to be more effective than random chance. So another question is, why talk about it at all? because it still speaks to something very real in the human psyche. Our relationship with water is deeply emotional. It's the element of dreams, longing, grief, and mystery, and dowsing, while scientifically baseless, tells us about our need to trust instinct when reason feels dry. And in magic, belief is often the strongest current. I mean, look at the placebo effect, right? Like, it's crazy what your brain can do. So if you want to use your pendulum to find a buried stream in your backyard, you do you. But if your pipes are bone dry, maybe call a hydrologist and leave an offering to the water spirits. You never know.
Okay.
So interesting.
I would love to try it.
Right.
I
And
would love
some
to
people,
bend some coat hangers.
right, yeah, you could do them anything. And it's not even like you don't even have to use them to try to find water. People just use them as a, like you said, like as a pendulum, as a yes or no, like muscle testing
Yeah, so cool.
exercise. Yeah, I've seen psychics or, self-proclaimed psychics on TikTok, on where YouTube, wherever, who do that whole dowsing thing, just sit there and pretend that they're communing with, I don't know, fucking Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to summon some ghost of Christmas past
Yeah.
and just asking yes or no questions and just waiting for answers and then calling it fact. I don't know. What they're just waiting for the things to cross, right?
Yeah.
It's
Amazing.
wild.
I
It's
wonder
wild.
what the like you said Jim Morrison. I'm just thinking like what celebrity has the most psychic trips, like visiting seances? Who has been at every
Well,
seance?
I'm saying Jim Morrison because in Salem a few years ago, when me and Avi went, we did a quote seance, and
Yeah.
it was by some illusionist. So right off the bat, we're like, okay, this is all for show. It's bullshit. Whatever. It was like in a VFW at midnight, so like literally spooky,
Fucking weird.
witching hour. So we're all sitting there, and he passes around these little, like those little washers, like a screw on a string.
Yes.
He was teaching us how to use these as a pendulum.
Mhm.
So we would just like hold them like how you hold a pendulum, just straight by your the tips of your fingers. And he's like, okay, now ask it to twirl in circles, and then it would twirl in circles. And he's like, okay, now ask it to move back and forth, left to right, and then it would do that, because your mind, it's kind of like
Sending
consciously, it's
signal.
subconsciously guiding it to do that, even though
Right.
you're not really, your arm isn't moving it, but your mind has more power than you think, right? So
That's telekinesis, Kyle.
exactly. And I've got the power to move you. Yeah, so he's like doing the whole seance thing, and then apparently there was like a bottle of Jack on the counter,
Mhm.
and there were chains around it and stuff. And the bottle actually broke at one point.
Oh, shit.
Like it just like, yeah, it broke, and then like the chains were like rattling, and I'm like, is this real? Is this really happening? And
Yeah,
he's
what
like,
in the world?
the spirit of Jim Morrison is here.
Okay. All right,
Or-
illusionist.
Yeah, so that was a wild experience. I still have that washer somewhere. I saved it as a souvenir. I was like, this is so stupid, but I don't know.
Morrison is probably tied to it somehow now.
Right, yeah.
Oh
So
my
that
lord.
was wild. I wish you could have gone to that, because that was freaking weird.
I would have been giggling the whole time. No, it's
I was
odd. I
kinda
get
scared.
I get scary serious when it comes to things like that. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I want something to happen.
I was shaking. I was shaking
Oh.
because, like, typically, like, I'm the chicken shit at the Ouija board party. Like, I told you my Ouija board story. Like, I was the first one fucking out of that garage when the lights started flickering.
Yeah.
So, like, typically, I don't like fucking with ghosts, but there's something so mesmerizing about a seance. Like, I feel like Victorian and spooky, and like,
Yeah, that
it was
Victorian old lady in you is so happy.
it was pretty cool, I have to say. It was cool. Even if it was fake, it was fucking cool.
That's
Yeah.
good. Well, I hope to go with you next time. Well, let's wade into the healing waters of the elemental correspondences, where water's magic moves through stone, root, leaf, and limb. We're going to talk crystals, herbs, and body correspondences here. This is the element of emotion, intuition, dreams, and deep nourishment, and it speaks not in commands, but in tides. It pulls and murmurs beneath the surface. So let's begin with crystals. Water-aligned stones shimmer like sunlit pools, soft, luminous, and emotionally restorative. So think aquamarine, the gem of mermaids, said to calm waves both internal and external. Think moonstone. My wedding ring is a moonstone. Pulsing with the rhythm of the lunar tides, a stone of sacred cycles, divine feminine energy, and emotional insight. Then there's selenite, named for the moon goddess Selene. Selene! Wait, isn't that my past life name?
Yeah.
Celine.
Celine Dion.
It channels watery clarity and energetic purification, perfect for clearing emotional stagnation. And
But ironically enough, you're not supposed to put selenite by water.
oh, okay.
It will dissolve.
Pick a different way to cleanse it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they do say selenite's also a self-cleansing, so you can put your other crystals around the selenite, and the selenite
Mm.
cleanses the other crystals. So
Mm-hmm,
you don't
mm-hmm.
have to even worry about water.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't think I have a cellar. Do
I have
you?
I have a yeah, I have a couple chunks. I have a couple like raw chunks. And the thing about
Mm.
the raw selenite is it's a little splintery, so you
It's
have to be
flaky.
careful. It is
Yeah.
very flaky. I also have a couple discs. So I do
I
have
do
like
have selenite. Okay, never mind.
yeah, I have a couple charging discs, and a friend of mine gave me a couple points and a tower. I think I have a selenite
You're
tower.
loaded with the selenite.
Oh yeah, I'm good with the selenite. I love it.
So you could also go for blue lace agate, and blue lace agate is a whisper of calm, soft waves in stone form, soothing for overthinking or overwhelmed hearts. And Larimar, often called the dolphin stone, evokes tropical tides and emotional ease. Holding it is like sinking into warm seawater and exhaling all that you no longer need.
Ooh, that's very pretty.
It is pretty.
Holy shit. That almost kind of looks like the bottom of a pool.
Ooh, your favorite.
Like you
You love
know how like the watery like the blue kind of
all
waves.
veins
Yeah,
of light.
that's really pretty.
So let's get into the green world. Water is the element of lushness, and its plant allies often grow near the edges of rivers, ponds, and intuition. So let's start with the lotus, a powerful spiritual symbol rising from the murky waters into pure blooms. When we were in the mountains in Boone this past week, there's ponds everywhere, and the lotuses are just popping off. And I love a freaking lily
Oh,
pad.
me
Yeah.
too. They're so
They're
pretty.
so magical to me. I don't
They
know.
are.
Yeah, reminding us that transformation doesn't happen in clarity, but it happens in the depths. So are water lilies and lotuses not the same thing?
Yeah, what?
Maybe.
Wait, what's a water lily? What
I
water?
thought a water lily was a lotus and vice versa.
Wait, yeah, because I typed in water lily and what looks like a lotus popped up. So
Okay, let's tie these two together then.
what's the
So
difference between a water lily and a lotus? What's the difference? All right, so it looks like, hold on, loading. It says a lotus, the leaves stand tall and repel water. It blooms in the summer and can get up to 6 feet tall. It needs full sun. A water lily, the leaves sit on the water. Some
mm.
bloom year round. The blooms are 4 to 6 inches above water and it also needs full sun. But it looks like the water lilies are actually on the water and a lotus kind of stands tall and like a longer stem.
Oh, I had no idea.
I had no idea either.
It's 2
That's
days old.
interesting.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Water lilies float delicately on the surface. So I guess we were picking water lilies
Okay.
this past weekend, but are anchored deep, mirroring how we might present grace above the waterline while our roots do the quiet work below. Willow trees. Love a willow tree with their weeping limbs, teaching us that flexibility is strength and grief, when given space, becomes beauty. Then we have cattails, those little hot dogs standing up in the marshlands. They stand out there like sentinels, sturdy, soft, and resourceful, used for generations in both food and craft. I think they're rhizomes, so they will keep spreading and spreading beneath.
Okay.
Then there's the pitcher plant. Have you ever heard of this carnivorous plant? My little brother has some of these. You can get them at gardens,
Okay.
centers. So the pitcher plant, a water holding vessel, reminds us that what we contain, whether nourishment or poison, shapes our growth. And of course, there's the herbs like chamomile, jasmine, lavender, rose, and mugwort offer softness, dream work, and heart healing, often through teas, baths, and soaks. Oh, or smoke. And then last week we talked about gypsophilia, and I just pulled this right from our last episode because you told us that this little annual flower is often used in water magic, probably because of its resemblance to sea foam. But as a Venus plant, it is most often utilized in love and garden magic. So like recipes for love charms.
But then also, totally forgot to add this little bit. Pansies are a big flower to use in rain magic. So, like, if you're going through a drought, like, it's good to use some pansy in any kind of like weather witchcraft if you want to bring more rain to your land or whatever. A few years back, I made these little cookies and I made it with the pansy flowers on top and had like a
Yay.
little rain ritual, like bring water to my garden ritual. Then you just eat the cookie, and they're edible flowers,
Pretty.
so you can
Yeah.
eat them too. So they are very pretty. I love pansies.
Another like rainy plant I think of is a string of pearls.
Oh
You ever
yeah,
see those? Like pearls come from the ocean, but they
right.
just look like raindrops to me, you know?
Oh yeah, that is true. It's cute.
Energetically, water finds its home in the sacral chakra just below the navel. This is the seat of emotion, creativity, sensuality, and fluid connection. When it's in balance, you feel open to intimacy, inspiration, and intuitive flow. When it's out of balance, you might feel numb, codependent, overwhelmed, or blocked by grief. The physical body may reflect this imbalance through reproductive issues, bladder tension, or digestive irregularity.
Uh-oh, Christina.
I know I got to go work on my sacral. So how do we restore this harmony? Water teaches us through sensation and ritual. So a moon bath or salt soak with lavender oil could help. Sitting beneath a willow with bare feet pressed to damp ground. I can go do that.
Yeah,
These sound nice. Watching I love watching koi.
they're
They
so
get
pretty.
so big.
They're huge. Yeah.
Drinking floral teas as you write your dreams into being, collecting rainwater to anoint your altar, crying without apology. Man, that's a hard one.
That is a hard one. Now, how many times are we crying? We're like, I'm so sorry. It's
Yeah,
all my
like
fault.
reaching for the tissues and like just
Oh,
let it go.
can I just
Mhm.
tell you, like the other night when I had my meltdown after, I didn't even know my car was totaled yet. I just like was having a panic attack about the whole thing, and I'm just like, I felt so guilty because
Aw.
I feel like I inconvenienced so many people because like I know you can't think like that, but that's like the first thing that I felt because I made Avi come out. I had to make my boss come out and get me and put both of them in danger because like my car's fucked up and now they all have to come and save me, and then my boss had to figure out who was gonna watch the kids for the rest of the week, and like all these things were running through my head. Like I know we would have figured it out and there's always a solution to everything, at least everybody's alive and okay, and like that's the main thing, but like the first thing that goes through your head is like, oh my god, I've inconvenienced everyone and I put everybody in danger around me just to save my stupid ass because I'm an idiot. So yeah,
Those
it is
feelings
hard.
are those feelings are valid, but you are loved and you would do the same for anybody else, you
I
know?
know.
I know, but
Yeah.
those feelings are valid. I would have them too,
Yeah.
and that's something we got to work on.
I
Like
know. I know.
asking for help, like how deep into danger do you have to be,
Right.
to ask for help?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. At first I was like, I could just walk to Veronica. She's around the block. Meanwhile, my car, I have no shoes. My car's underwater. And like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I got this. And like,
Right.
meanwhile, can't even figure out how to generate a pin on my phone because I'm just like shaking. And I'm like, oh, I got this. I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's like that dog meme with everything on fire behind him. He's just drinking the cup of coffee.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
you.
it's fine. Everything's fine.
So, lastly, let your emotions rise, crest, and recede like a tide doing what it's meant to do. This is the rhythm of healing, not forward always, but inward, deeper and softer. If earth grounds and fire transforms, water remembers. It remembers the shape of every vessel it's held in, every story whispered to its surface. It remembers how to move around obstacles, how to hold and be held, how to flow. So, when in doubt, let water lead you back to yourself. Let it show you that softness is not weakness, Justina. It's wisdom in fluid motion.
So I had to tell you this. I was telling my cousin's wife, Abby.
Yeah.
I was telling her I also forgot to tell you that. I called her by accident because
Oh.
I my hands were shaking too much to dial Avi's number, so I just held the button down and told Siri to call Avi. Well,
Call Abby.
it always mistakes Avi for Abby and it always calls her by accident, but I guess I like didn't click off on time and the call kind of went through, so I hung up and then like I was like, call Avinash. So it called Avi, but then she texted me. She's like, "Hey, did you just call me? Is everything okay? Are you okay in the flood? Like, is everything like?" Then she's like super concerned. And then Thomas, my cousin, called Avi, and he was like, "Is everything okay? Are you okay with your foot? Are you okay with the flood?" Like they
On
got
it.
scared. Yeah. So then I told Abby everything that happened later on. And then I told her like, yeah, and then this lady Mona saved me, and then I saw her, and then I just like I just hugged her and then I sobbed and like I told her like she was like, I honestly I can't even picture you crying.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
kind of broke my heart a little bit because I was like, yeah, I know I'm a hard ass bitch sometimes, but like I am still human. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
That's scary.
it was so scary. But like, she was like, I don't think I could picture you crying.
Everybody has the end of their rope. Like it just sounded
Yeah,
like that was the end of the tether for you. Like
just
I just need to drift. I'm
put
just
a
gonna
fork
drift
in it.
off into Mona's arms right now.
Mona, save me. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yo, this episode, I'm sorry, everybody, if it feels like I'm complaining a lot.
Stop apologizing. You're not complaining.
It's just like, it was
That's an
quite the
ordeal.
experience. Oh my God. Well, it'll make for, a funny story now, but
Yeah.
in the moment, not so funny.
Yeah, terrible, but perfect timing.
Horrible. So we're gonna close this episode out with, oh wait, no, we're not
We're
there
not
yet.
closed yet.
Okay.
Justina's ready to bounce.
Yeah, I need to go take a nap. So, we're gonna talk about some daily practices and integration, right? How can you incorporate water into your daily practice? Not just where we're doing spell work, but in the way that we think and we feel and we move through the world. Water teaches us to feel deeply and to flow gently and to adapt with grace. And while ritual baths and ocean pilgrimages are beautiful, we're also here for the real life stuff, right? Small practices that ripple into bigger shifts. So here's some simple rituals that you can do to embody water. You can start your morning by blessing your drinking water with an intention. Whisper into the glass, "May I move with ease today." Keep a small bowl of water on your altar. Refresh it daily to symbolize renewal. And end your day with a warm shower by candlelight or a bath if that's your thing. Visualizing the stress rinsing off and going down the drain. And then here's some practices for all kinds of environments. If you're in an urban area, you can play rain sounds during your commute, sip herbal tea mindfully, or visit a public fountain to meditate.
I ain't playing no rain sounds in the car. I would piss myself.
Yo, I'm kind of used to a sound of a fountain because I have the cat fountain that
Oh
they
yeah,
drink
yeah,
out
yeah.
of. So I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
So like a week ago, I think it was at my mom's, and like she was filling a pitcher of water. She was like, "Sorry, everybody, if this is making you have to pee," and everybody's like, "Yeah, stop doing that. I have to pee." And I'm like, "Oh, it didn't even phase me because
Clock
I
it.
feel like it's my cat fountain in the background. It's
Okay.
just background noise at this
Yeah,
point."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Ours, you have to, yeah, we have one also. I don't really hear it either, but it drives Aaron crazy because if
does
you
it
don't
fill it?
watch it like weekly, it starts to really trickle in and getting loud.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, doesn't bother me either. I just kind of tuned it out. So if you're in a rural area, you can walk along a stream or some kind of like basin or ditch after a fresh rain. You can collect morning dew from plants or explore a bogland if it's nearby. In some areas it's actually illegal to collect rainwater. Did you know
It
that?
is, yep, yep.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because I think they like maybe California, they collect it because they're so often in a drought and they need it for other things. I don't know.
Okay. Weird. But like, isn't it if you're not collecting it, it's just gonna go to waste because it's going to the ground, right?
I don't make the rules.
I'm just trying to make it make sense in my mind. I know. All right. So if you're in a more nature-based environment, you can sit barefoot near a lake, a creek, or a pond. Pay attention to the animals that linger there, like ducks or frogs or dragonflies. I really
Mhm.
love going to. I told you we had this place. It's called Grounds for Sculpture.
Mhm.
It's like probably like a man-made lake or river or whatever, but there's a really nice little cafe like right on the side of it, and there's lily pads and water lilies and a cute little Monet inspired bridge and a
I
weeping
love it.
willow, and it's just beautiful to look at while you're eating and
Yeah.
dining, and it's a very calm atmosphere until a fucking dragonfly flies into your ear while you're fucking trying to eat. And then did I tell you that time I stubbed my toe there
No.
because I heard a warthog in the trees and I tried to
Heard
run.
a wart? What's a warthog?
I'm gonna have to let Avi tell you this story one day because
Oh, I didn't know Jersey had warthogs, but
neither did I, but I heard one and I tried to run and I stubbed my toe and then I swallowed a bug.
I thought warthogs were like African savanna animals.
It wasn't a warthog. It sounded like something like it sounded like a wild pig.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was scary. Like I didn't see it. I heard it through the trees and it freaked me out. So I went to run the other way and I tripped over a brick in the garden and I stubbed my toe.
Oh, it's because you're wearing those flip-flops.
Yeah. Oh no, I was in my platform shoes because like we were just there to dine, right? And we
Okay, okay.
walk in the gardens after because it was pretty, but I didn't know something was gonna fucking try to attack me through the trees. And then we went to go back inside because I was freaking out, and then I swallowed a bug.
Oh my God.
Fucking-
Oh, I hate that.
It was pure chaos. And then Avi was like, "Oh, right, it's time to go."
Dude, that sounds terrible.
Anyway,
I wanted to say that there's that farm property like behind us that
yeah.
has just like the ponds, and there is a huge willow tree there, and like its branches are like barely like
Ooh,
tickling the water and on the
that's
top, and
pretty.
it's so beautiful, and I want to swim. That's the dream, is to like swim under it and see all these branches like over my head, but I'm not getting in that water ever.
Yeah.
But
Brain
like
bacteria.
we could ride under it. What's that?
Brain eating bacteria.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So many chemicals.
Not fucking with that. Right.
Anyway.
So here are some sensory cues and foods and movement. As far as scents, there's sea salt, blue lotus, neroli, or jasmine oils that you can incorporate into your bath, or maybe a dream pillow or something that kind of like gives you that watery vibe. I had that sea salt on my altar with very watery scents like jasmine and a couple other things. And just like, I couldn't use it really for like a bath because I put food coloring in it.
It's the symbol.
But yeah, I had it on my altar just as a little offering, and it smelled amazing. So good. Flavors, if you want to flavor your water, you can have some cucumber water or blueberries, coconut milk, or broth-based soups. And for movement, you can do slow circular motions like Tai Chi or gentle dancing or floating in a pool and allowing your body to mimic the ebb and flow of the tides. And then here are some reflection prompts if you guys want to journal. First, you can ask, where do I resist softness? How do I respond when emotions rise? What containers in my life feel too full? And what do I need to release? And where am I ready to let something flow again? I could really use those journal prompts right now.
You got them.
And then, if you want to do some tarot pulls, you can pull a card and ask, where do I need more water in my life? Are you being invited to tend to your emotional body? Do you need to soften more in a relationship or honor a memory or grief that's been buried for too long? And then, water is a teacher of presence and permission. It lets us weep, wash, wonder, and begin again. So, whatever your practice looks like, be it a full moon bath or a 30-second pause to feel your feelings, just know this. You are already fluid. You are already sacred. You're already enough. And let's just carry that knowing into whatever comes next. And I kind of have to keep that mentality right now because, like, as much as I want to go back and try to fix my fucked up car, I'm like, let's just move forward.
Yeah.
Like, I know I don't want car payments, but like,
I
it's a new chapter, It's gotta be. So I'm
agree.
trying to make peace with that.
I know. It'll be okay. Journal,
Yeah,
journal, journal.
I know.
So let's get into our last little segment about seasons and ritual calendar. So some elements belong to a season, like the other ones we've discussed. Water belongs to a feeling. But if we had to choose a time of year when water surges through the streams of everyday life, when it pulses the loudest, it pulls the most magnetic, that would probably be July. The heat is just cresting. Skin is glistening with sweat. Storms crack open the sky, flooding all over the place, unfortunately. And somewhere beneath it all, there's those mermaids singing. So, water energy is perennial, but in midsummer, it becomes embodied. So, like in tide pools, in sea foam, where children hunt for seashells, in long, sticky nights where emotions run high and dreams feel prophetic, and monsoons where water takes the shape of power. This is when intuition, empathy, and emotional release feel like a sacred intervention rather than burdens. So, as far as Sabbats and symbols, while water doesn't neatly pin to one Sabbat, its spirit is ever present around Letha, the summer solstice we just came off of, and waning days of the Cancer season, which we're in right now. And in our podcast, we chose to align water with its home here in July, honoring the depth of the ocean, the myth of mermaids, and the vulnerability of heat-induced emotion. I know I am very short-tempered when it is hot, and I'm trying to get cool. I hate being sweaty. So think siren song, salty skin, rituals of shedding and softening. Water in July is not passive. It's wild, mystical, and maternal. And some themes of ritual: water asks us to release grief, guilt, or anything too heavy to carry. Very interesting what you vocalized, feeling, that
Yeah,
guilt of having to ask for help.
I did.
Yeah. Cleanse what is stagnant, open to love, tenderness, and longing, and initiate a deeper relationship with your own feeling, even when emotions are messy, especially then, right? Water says, let it come. And some seasonal offerings or activities. You could float in the ocean or a lake with your eyes closed. That would be so scary. Invite messages from your subconscious. Pour water into your garden as an offering. Actually, okay. All right. I just redid all of my drip line for my garden
Yeah.
for like 3 hours. I got some sunburn going on, but now everything will at least get water because we're like not getting anything. So,
Right.
yeah, you can journal while listening to rain or tide sounds. Let the writing be fluid and unfiltered. Craft a shell charm or driftwood, charging it with mermaid blessings. Or you can try this: pick one emotion you've resisted, whisper it into the bowl of water, then pour it into the earth and let it go. July's water doesn't just soothe, it calls you back to yourself, to the title truth that your softness is strength. And that, like the ocean, you're always allowed to change shape. I like
Let it go, let it go.
nice.
Yeah, just let it go. Turn off your mind, relax, and flow downstream.
I love that.
That's that John Lennon song.
I
They
know.
redid that for The Craft. I love that
Perfect.
song.
Perfect.
Or that Incubus song, floating down the river.
There's
Do you know
so
that
many
song?
water songs.
Aqueous Transmission, and at the end of that song, it's just like the ambiance of frogs. Have
Ooh.
you ever heard that song?
Nah, bro.
I'm gonna send you the song. Listen
Okay.
to it. You could, I don't know, smoke before you listen to it. It's a vibe.
Okay.
It's an experience.
Okay, cool.
I don't care. I do you, but it's so pretty to just like literally float down the river. Just turn everything off,
Awesome.
listen to the song, and the frogs at the end is just so chill, and it's yeah, it's a really cool
Fantastic.
song. I love that song. Yeah, as we close our exploration of the water element, we invite you to take a deep, intentional breath, imagining it filling not just your lungs, but your emotional well, right? Water teaches us to feel fully, to surrender when needed, and to trust the current, even when it carries us somewhere unknown. Thanks, guys, for floating through this journey with us, and as always, to be fluid is not to be weak, it is to know how to move without breaking. That is all we have for you guys today. Just a reminder, you can check out all of the sources pertaining to today's episode via our hero page. The link is in our show notes. And thanks again to our patron and Palmiers for creating this app and keeping creators like us organized. If you guys do want to support the podcast on Patreon, you can support us for as little as $1 a month. That's our seedling tier, and that gets you access to our patron-only polls where you get to weigh in on what topics you would like us to talk about next. It also gets you our monthly calendar so you can see what topics we have coming up for the month, and it also gets you a welcome shout out on the show. Our $3 Lavender Bud tier gets you our show notes for each episode in an aesthetically pleasing PDF, our after hours posts, if there's any extra tidbits or behind the scenes info pertaining to any of our episodes, we'll post those along with a blog post or extra photos, and access to our specially curated Spotify playlists. We have created playlists for our WMSR episodes as well as Production Dream playlists for each song episode, and more. Our $5 Lilac tier gets you access to our private Facebook community where we host a monthly live stream. Plus, you'll get access to our Discord server where we host our monthly watch parties. And also on the Discord, you can join in on the discussion with other Magnolia Street neighbors via the various interesting channels and threads. And then here's the $8 Rose tier. This gets you access to extra audio visual content such as a once a month full-length video episode, unlimited bonus videos, uncut footage, cutting room floor footage, bloopers, outtakes, meditations, exclusive interviews, and old home videos from the vault, or spell or ritual videos, and more. It also gets you bonus content to coincide with our song-episodes, such as full-length demo streams of our original Practical Magic inspired music, plus lyric sheets, guitar chords, and original scratch demos, or bonus video performances of our songs and more. Lastly, we have our $15 Wisteria Vine tier. Just like a twisting Wisteria Vine, there's a way for you to stay connected with us, the Stinas. In this tier, we invite you to join our private Marco Polo video messaging app. The app is totally free for both Android and iOS. Sign up with your phone number or email, and we will help you do the rest. This is a great way to chat with each other in a more intimate group setting, face-to-face via video recording. We love to show each other our pets, our gardens, or anything else you'd like to share. And just a reminder that the higher the tier you sign up under, the more rewards you get, because you get all of the rewards of the tiers below it. You can upgrade or downgrade or even cancel at any time. So to support the podcast, head to Patreon patreon.com/Magnolia Street Podcast.
Yeah, and there are additional ways to support us and our podcast that don't cost you any money. If you do listen on Spotify, please give us a star rating. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please give us a written review. We love sharing those on our Instagram. And if you're on Instagram, we would really appreciate any reposts or blurbs about our podcast. And make sure to tag us at Magnolia Street Podcast in your feed, posts, stories, and share us with your practical magic loving friends.
Also, don't forget to download our album on Bandcamp, the Stina's of magnoliastreet.bandcamp.com if you want to support us more monetarily. But if not, you can listen to our whole album over on Spotify and iTunes. Leave us a review or give us a star rating and do all those things. And next week, what we got?
Well, it depends on what we want to put together, but I have set to go nautical folklore and superstition, but it might be a long one, so that might be a back-to-back, or we could split it up and do like our Kylie one in between.
Yeah, we do want to do another episode of like more Practical Magic 2 news and maybe some more predictions, and we definitely want to talk about the new casting news that dropped this past week, so we definitely want to do that. So yeah, maybe we might do that one before we get to the nautical stuff, just to, talk about it.
Yep, sounds good.
But other than that, we're gonna leave you guys today, and I'm Justina.
I'm Christina.
And we'll see you next time.
At the house on Magnolia Street, would you